Welcome to the Face the Music podcast. What's up, everybody? My name is Matt and I'm your host. Today's episode, we have the top 10 songs of week 19, a recap of the Back to the Beginning show from over the weekend, and my very special guest, one of the best drummers in metal drumming, Mr. Chris Kontos, is on the show. You ready? Let's do it. Welcome, everybody, to week 19. Hell of a week. So many things happened. We had Alex from Slaughter to Prevail in a bare-knuckle fight. He lost. We had the Black Sabbath Back to the Beginning show. We had Spirit Box on the Jimmy Kimmel show. And Oasis did their first show without beating the shit out of each other. So basically, that was as boring of a show as you can expect from Oasis. I hope you all had a fantastic week. I hope you got to enjoy the Back to the Beginning show, the single most important happening in metal history. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, though. Did you watch? Comment below. Let me know what your favorite parts were. Let me know what your least favorite parts were. I know mine personally, and it's the talk of what most people say, Axl Rose is fucking Mickey Mouse, dude. But aside from that, there's a whole bunch of new people following my pages this week. So to all of my first-time listeners, I would like to say welcome to the Face the Music family. I'm very happy to have you here. When you're listening, it's our time to just hang out together and forget about the insanity of life. Forget about all the negativity, all the bullshit. This is a politics-free, worry-free, stress-free podcast. I'm here to talk with you all about all things hard rock and metal music and bring some fun and interesting discussions from artists that you know and love and to artists that you may not know yet. There's too much fucked up shit happening in the world right now. This is our place to escape from that for just a little while every week. For all of my returning listeners, welcome back, my friends. Thank you for listening week after week. Thank you for joining me once again on another episode of the Face the Music podcast. You guys know what's up by now. You know what I'm all about. Much love to you guys. Thankful and lucky to have your support. Whether this is your first episode or your 19th, I am humbly and kindly asking you for more support. It's shameless, but I have to. I have to have this thing grow. You guys are the key. I am begging you every week to do this, okay? There is 3 very quick, very free ways to support the show, all right? Number 1, follow the podcast on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. Number 2, interact with posts, even if it's just something as little as liking it or voting on a poll. And lastly, number 3, share something. If you guys are listening to this show right now, there's a pretty good chance that someone else that you know will be into the show as well. So tell them what's up. I appreciate all the love and all the support, and I will never take that for granted. With that being said, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Tell your dickhead boss that you're off the clock. Don't stress about Monday. Grab a beer, turn it up to 10, and enjoy, my friends. I have some great music from a lot of great artists this week, and we have Mr. Chris Kontos on the show today. I started this podcast 18 weeks ago now. It's new-ish, but it's a product of a major life change, losing my job. I've talked about it a little bit here and there on the show, and yes, it is still very upsetting all these months later. It was a very traumatic thing for me, truthfully. It wasn't just a job. It was something that I gave my heart and my soul to for a very long time, and it set back a lot of the positive changes that were in motion for my wife and I this year. To keep it 100% honest with you, I was extremely depressed. My anxiety was through the roof. I had no idea how to make the next move. I found a lot of solace in starting this podcast. It helped me talk it out, to let go of what was keeping me down in life, and it allowed me to grow and discover a bit more about myself. Very much like seeking therapy. A therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. They can give you advice and techniques to make positive changes in your life. BetterHelp is the sponsor of this video, and they're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. You just fill out a questionnaire, and you'll match with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. Easily switch therapists at any time and no extra cost if it's not the right fit for you. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/facethemusic and get 10% off your first month of therapy. This week's Top 10 is mixing the old school with the new school. Bands that bring the heavy, the groove, the hunger, the speed. They bring the fucking ruckus. This week, in honor of our special guest, we have music from Exodus, Testament, Machine Head, Patterns of Decay, Dark After Dawn, Bleed the Gods, Electrocutioner, the brand new one from Forbidden, Annihilator, and Exhorter. As always, you'll hear all the clips of the top 10 on Spotify episodes, but unfortunately, YouTube snitches if you want to upload music. So if you are watching on YouTube, I apologize, but the clips will not be featured. But not to worry, you can still listen to the full songs on the Face the Music Top 10s playlist over on Spotify. Code will be at the end of the top 10, and it's also in the link that's on all of my socials. Top 10 of week 19, let's get into it. Number 10 this week, we kick it off with my guest from a few weeks back. I promised them as soon as their music hit streaming, this would be on the top 10, and I make good on my promises. Out of Long Island, New York, a band whose members have been doing their thing for decades, but as a band, they're brand new. Their debut show is next week, July 18th, Amityville Music Hall, Amityville, New York. Please go see them. I'm going to be there. Let's go chill and support the boys. This is my good friends in Bleed the Gods with their first single, Bleed the Gods. Enjoy, everybody. At number 9, we head on over to the legendary home of thrash metal, the San Francisco Bay Area. We're going to be spending a lot of time here today, guys. This band formed in 1983. They are one of the best thrash bands in the world, and in my honest opinion, and no disrespect to either other band, should have replaced either Slayer or Anthrax in the big four of thrash. Eric Peterson, Alex Skolnick, Steve DiGiorgio, Chris Doves, Chuck Billy, the band Testament. Known for their heavy, pummeling sound, their incredible guitar work, their high-energy shows, and just a dream list of drummers through the years, including John Tempesta, Dave Lombardo, Gene Hoglan, and Chris Kontos. Testament are masters of the genre and still continue to kick ass. Number 9 this week is off of their 2016 album, Brotherhood of the Snake. This is the title track, Brotherhood of the Snake. Number 8, we're going to hang back in the Bay Area for just a minute. Starting way back in 1979 with the original members Keith Stewart, Tim McNello, Carlton Melson, Tim Hunting, and Kirk Hammett, the band Exodus. Nowadays, the only original member remaining in the band is Tim Hunting, but he is surrounded by an elite group of musicians, including Jack Gibson, Lee Altus, Gary Holt, who pulls double duty in Slayer, and Rob Dukes. Dukes is also known for his other band, Generation Kill. Dukes was in Exodus from 2005 to about 2014, and just this year returned back to the band. Exodus, much like Testament, is a truly legendary thrash band, and in my honest opinion, also could have replaced Anthrax or Slayer in the Big Four. Again, absolutely no disrespect to either band. Or the Big Four should have just been the Big Six, which makes a hell of a lot more sense to me. Either way, Exodus are said to have been the pioneers of Bay Area thrash, and are still one of the best to ever do it. Number 8 this week, this is Exodus off of the 1989 album Fabulous Disaster. This is Toxic Waltz. Number 7, these gentlemen are top 10 alumni. They are one of the best unsigned independent artists out there, and they are hungry. They have never said die. My Boys in Dark After Dawn, affectionately known to many as Dad. These dudes are once again writing and recording, and after a recent lineup change, they are ready to come out of the gates swinging. Get ready for the new material to come out. It's going to be banger after banger. The song I'm going to play for you in a second is one of their thrashiest, one of their heaviest, and it's off of their debut album, the self-titled Dark After Dawn. At number 7, this is Dad with Absence of Innocence. Number 6, out of New Orleans, Louisiana, one of my favorite places in this country. This city is rich in history, rich in originality, and definitely rich in the arts. Music is a huge part of the New Orleans culture. You cannot go anywhere in that city without hearing music almost round the clock. It's one of my favorite parts about that city. That and the fact the football season down there is a borderline religious experience. For those that don't know, I'm a big Saints fan, and I got to go down there in 2019 for a game, and all I'm going to say is get down there if you're a fan of football. It's a wild, wild place, but it's fun. The band Ex Hoarder comes from New Orleans. They formed back in 1985, broke up in 94, got back together for a 3-year run in 2008 to 2011, and reformed again in 2017 and have remained active ever since. Ex Hoarder are considered to be among pioneers of the groove thrash that would evolve and grow with bands like Machine Head and Pantera. Phil Anselmo of Pantera is also from New Orleans, as is his Pantera side project Down, and are both highly regarded. In 2019, Ex Hoarder released Mourn the Southern Skies. It was the band's first album in over 27 years. Your number 6 song of Week 19 comes off of that album. This is Ex Hoarder with My Time. Coming in at number 5 this week out of Long Island, New York, and also Face the Music Top 10 alumni, the Anxiety Boys themselves, Patterns of Decay. Patterns is one of my favorite bands from the Long Island area. I've said a lot about them previously, and I don't want to run in circles, so all I can really say is they continued to drop banger after banger after banger. They're gearing up for a new release, so stay tuned to their socials for shows, for more new music. This is the brand new track from Patterns of Decay off their forthcoming album, Departure, out August 22nd. At number 5, this is Patterns of Decay with Self-Inflicted Friendly Fire. Number 4, we're heading up to Canada. Considered to be one of Canada's best thrash metal bands, Annihilator formed in 1984 by Jeff Waters. The band has gone through a lot of lineup changes through the years, honestly too many band members to name, but notably at least, this band is the band that introduced me to the monster that is Mike Mangini. There's video of Mangini tracking the Annihilator track Weapon X, and his playing is just inhuman. I found this video on accident, and by proxy, it introduced me to Annihilator as well. I would love to have picked that song for you guys, but it's not available on streaming. I looked up and said something to do to licensing. They can't put it up. So I decided to go with the next best thing. But if you can, go deep dive this band if you're unfamiliar with them. They are truly one of the best. At number 4 this week, we have Annihilator off the 2005 album Schizo Deluxe. This is Warbird. My friends, welcome to the top 3 songs of the week. I just want to do a quick recap so far. Number 10, we have Bleed the Gods with Bleed the Gods. Number 9, we have Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake. Number 8, we have Exodus with The Toxic Waltz. Number 7 is Dark After Dawn with Absence of Innocence. Number 6 is Ex-Hoarder, My Time. Number 5, we have Patterns of Decay, Self-Inflicted Friendly Fire. And at number 4, we just heard from Annihilator with Warbird. Your number 3 song out of week 19, also out of Long Island, New York, thrash metal band Electrocutioner. This band is a 3-piece powerhouse that's been around for a few years now. They're on the relatively newer side, but came onto the scene balls blazing. In 2023, they released the album False Idols, and in 2025, so far, they've released a cover of the Leeway song On the Outside featuring Tommy Victor of Prong, R.I.P. Eddie Sutton, and they also released the first single off their newest album, due out September 5th, 2025, not yet titled, but it is the band's first release on their new label, CDN Records. Congratulations, boys, this is so well deserved. I am so excited to play this track for you guys. This showcases every single member of the band, not to mention one of the sickest drum intros that I've heard recently due to my boy Tyler. Number 3 off of the yet untitled but upcoming album, this is Electrocutioner with Frozen File. Number 2, the band Forbidden. The newest one from the Bay Area Thrashers, featuring Chris Kontos on drums, Craig LaCicero on guitars, Matt Camacho on bass, Norman Skinner on vocals. The band began back in 1987 and quickly became one of the most successful Bay Area thrash bands. The band has had a lot of changes in lineup since '87, but I do want to note the original drummer, Paul Bostaff, would also go on to play in Testament, Exodus, and Slayer. Chris and I talked about musicians filling in for each other in the come up, and he said that you basically just helped whoever needed help. It was a group effort. It's cool to see how much movement between musicians in the same grouping of bands there really was. It really was just something like you help if you can. It isn't really something you see much of anymore in newer bands. Forbidden came back after a long break with one of the most pissed off tracks in recent years. The band is going to be releasing more new music, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. Also, go see them on the road. I can't wait till they come through New York. At number 2, this is Forbidden with Divided by Zero. And your number one song for week 19, I make no bones about this, I'm a huge Machine Head fan. I love this band. So needless to say, having Chris Kontos on the show this week was more than an honor and a privilege for me. In 1994, the band released Burn My Eyes, one of the most loved and respected metal albums of all time, and also one of the greatest debut albums of all time. The first thing you hear on this album is the absolute assault on the drums on the opening track, Davidian, which is also regarded as one of the best drumming performances in modern metal. It's legitimately iconic. As overused as that word has become every single time a fucking pop star farts, the word is not lost on things that are actually solidified in metal history as iconic. Davidian to this day is one of Machine Head's most popular songs, and lyrically has even inspired the band's most recent whiskey release, Shotgun Blast Whiskey. I hope you guys are good and ready for this week's interview after this. I know I am. Your number one song of week 19, featuring Chris Kontos on the drums. This is Machine fucking Head with Davidian. You can check out all the songs on the Face the Music Top 10s playlist on Spotify by either searching or scanning the code that is on your screen now. Are you interested in being a guest on the show? Hit me up. I'm always looking for bands, musicians, friends, other podcast hosts, promoters, or people who just live for rock and metal that want to come on and talk. So let's set it up. Don't be shy. It's always a good time. I will say, as of today, July is a little solid. August is looking a little loose. So if you've got something you want to come on and talk about, don't wait, and I'll see if I can make that work, even if I have to move some stuff around. My friends in bands, this goes for you too. If you have a show coming up, or a single, an album, or an EP dropping, anything that you want to promote, please let me know. I want to do my part in making sure your music gets heard and your band gets seen. But if you don't tell me, I'm going to have a pretty hard time finding out about it. So please reach out, whether you want to be a guest on the show, whether you are a band or both. Email me at theftmpod@gmail.com or just shoot me a message on Instagram. We got some show announcements, guys. Got a lot to focus on for July, and after MGR Fest, there's even more for the rest of the year, and you'll hear all about that in a couple of weeks. But first up, July 18th, this is next week, Amityville Music Hall. We have my friends in Bleed the Gods. This is their debut show, so get your asses out there and show them some support. I'm going to be there too. Come hang. July 19th, one day later, we have also at Amityville Music Hall, we have Prong, guys. Prong is doing their only home show in 2025 at AMH. The band will be hitting the road in Europe for the summer months before wrapping things up in Cali in Aftershock. So make sure you get your tickets and make sure you get there. I'm going to be chilling at this one too. I got to support my dude Tyler. Speaking of Tyler, his other band Electrocutioner just dropped a fucking rager. It was just on our top 10. Go listen to it. Go support the boys. July 20th, we have the Summer of Loud tour coming through Jones Beach. This one is going to be a blast. It's Killswitch Engage, I Prevail, Parkway Drive, Amity Affliction, Devil Wears Prada, and Alpha Wolf. The whole thing starts at 3, but I want to see if there's any way or anybody interested anyway in starting a tailgate party maybe around 12 o'clock. If I can get one going, I'll let you guys know, and we'll have a big party in the parking lot before the show. And then 1 week later, July 26th, Moongroove Records hosts MGR Fest 2025. This event will take place at Ubergeek Brewing in Riverhead, New York. The whole thing kicks off at noon and goes late into the night. This event will feature local artists and touring acts. There's going to be plenty of vendors, activities, games, food trucks, and much more. $25 if you buy ahead of time, $30 at the door, so make sure you save yourself some cash and buy early. Your vendors for MGR Fest 2025 are Rift Haven Audio Recording Studio, Floating Forest Pedals, Safe Haven Music, Moncherie Sugary, Burnworks Unlimited, Gallagher Baked Goods, Katie Crafts, the Maui Chop House Food Truck, the El Amor del Caribe Caribbean Love Food Truck, and yours truly, the Face the Music Podcast. I'll have a table and tent set up with some cool stuff for sale, including a one-time only limited supply MGR Fest hot sauce. I'll have shirts, I'll have some other cool stuff going on too. Gonna be doing a raffle or two. I'm gonna have a mobile setup for full coverage of the festival, so come on by and say what's up. Maybe cut a promo for the show, but make sure you get there bright and early. A music festival would be nothing without your bands performing. So, your bands for MGR Fest 2025 are Farsight, Ringside Tonic, Pathmaker, Cheem from New England, Path We Choose, Soul Searcher, Resist the Temptation, With Sales Ahead from New Jersey, Hope Speak, Dead Within Days, Pulses from Virginia, Off Guard, Oceanside, I Dreamt the Sea, and Craving Strange. Also featuring special acoustic sets by Bojack from the band Ronan, Chris Umland, and Ghost City Limits, which is my good friend and former guest of the show, Rob Moonfesta. Go give all of your vendors a like and the bands a listen. Make sure you buy your tickets early. $25 online or 30 day of show. Bring some extra cash for merch, food, raffles, and also save some time at the door. Since this event starts at noon, you want to make sure that you're there and inside early for when that first note kicks off. Real quick, guys, I want to talk about the Back to the Beginning show from last weekend. I could talk for a very long time on it, but I want to make it relatively short and sweet. The day has so many artists performing. Everybody really only had about 15 minutes to perform, which for a lot of these bands was 2 songs and a Sabbath song. Everybody covered one, which was awesome. Lots of random cameos, like Eloy Casagrande coming in to close out the Mastodon set with Mario Duplantier and Danny Carey. Jack Black covering Mr. Crowley and recreating the tribute album cover. Jason Momoa hopping in the pit for Pantera. The supergroups were great too. Lizzie Hale and Youngblood locked themselves in as 2 of the best vocalists of the entire event. Axl Rose solidifying himself as easily the worst with that Mickey Mouse shit, but the rest of Guns sounded phenomenal. Jake E. Lee returned to the stage, and that was an amazing moment. It seems like the entire world also finally realized how unbelievable a player Nuno Bettencourt is, and the moment everybody waited all day for, Ozzy Osbourne returning to the stage solo, and then for the final time with Black Sabbath. During Ozzy's performance of Mama, I'm Coming Home, I don't think that I saw a single dry eye. It was impossible to not let a few wet and salties fall. I was texting with my good friend Gordon of Florida bands Tone and Hollow Point. He's also been on the show. Both of us were talking about how impactful Black Sabbath was, really. Watching our favorite artists all pay homage to their idols all day long, coming to the realization that without Sabbath, all the bands that I listen to wouldn't exist, which means I wouldn't have any of the friends that I have right now, Gordon included. I said to him, it's a weird kind of butterfly effect kind of thing that in 1967, 4 dudes decided to make a band so that 58 years later down the line, we can be friends. It's wild. All the bands that I grew up loving Black Sabbath. Both Ozzy and Sabbath's performances were great. Bill Ward made one final return to the stage, and the 4 of them have officially retired. Congrats to an amazing career, congrats on making it on the other side of it, and congrats on inspiring almost 60 years of musicians. Millions and billions of people. This event also raised $200 million in charity to be donated to Parkinson's research, to children's housing, and children's hospice. Everybody who performed donated their time and resources. Nobody got paid, but they were there to raise money and to celebrate. I hope this ends up being available for purchase in some way, shape, or form because this show was the definition of legendary. Thank you for everything that you've done for music, Ozzy, and Black Sabbath. Enjoy retirement.
You're missing the all-important feedback. Let's free the ring with a shotgun blast.
You ready for it? It's time. He's a founding member of Machine Head. He's played with some of the best bands in the world. Testament, Exodus, Death Angel, the Boneless Ones. Currently in Forbidden. One of the best, one of the hardest hitting, a true icon, and one of the most down-to-earth dudes I have ever had the pleasure of talking to. We have an incredibly insightful conversation about the music industry, about coming up in the Bay Area as a new band, having what it takes to survive, mental health, and redemption. This is so important to listen to if you're a young, growing band. There is so much information here about the do's and don'ts of the industry, about the do's and don'ts of being in a band. Chris is so smart. He knows this shit inside and out. He's been doing this his entire life. Everybody should take a pen and paper and just take notes on this shit. Everybody, please kindly welcome to the show, Mr. Chris Kontos. Welcome to the Face of Music podcast, guys. I am sitting here with Chris Kontos of Machine Head, of Forbidden, of Testament, Exodus, Death Angel. He's played with them all. Dude, dude, you're a legend. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for doing this and taking some time out for me.
Oh, dude, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
Fuck yeah.
So recently, like I think just last week, you dropped the new Forbidden track, right?
Yeah.
Divided by Zero.
Yeah.
Absolute rager, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's everything that I would hope to hear from like Chris Kontos performing was, you are notably one of the heaviest hitters that I've ever seen play. So like to hear that reflect on a new record like that, dude, it's awesome. It fucking rules.
Thank you. Yeah, going into it, Craig and I were like, look, it's just because you can doesn't mean you have to. And a lot of the modern techniques of recording, I think with sound replacement, triggers and stuff like that, you don't hear the player, right? Yeah. You hear the replaced sounds. And even if they're killing it, even if they're totally killing it, there's just something about the texture and the verve and the velocity that can be stripped away a little bit. So our theory was go in and record this like a fucking Van Halen album, like,
yeah, man,
like as raw and real sounds as possible. And if we're going to get drum tones, let's take our time and get drum tones that would be drum tones that somebody would want to use if they were going to replace sounds, right?
Exactly.
So I think we kind of hit that mark. We went right, left guitar, not multiple overdubs. Like I said, all natural drum sounds, big, solid one placement bass, no symphonic maximizers or synths carrying the sub sounds and stuff. We just went raw,
It's the best way to do it, man. A properly mic'd acoustic kit, like it can't be touched,
Right. And I understand that budgets are different now and stuff, and the money is pulled back, so you don't have 53 days to find the snare sound, or
right.
Whatever. I understand the theory behind we've got to get this done, so we're going to trigger or we're going to quantize or we're going to, do all this stuff. But we were ready and prepared so we could go in, and we just did take that time to get the drum sounds, and then it was fucking tracking, like go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I noticed is that so many bands nowadays, there's just overproduction with everything. Everything sounds like it comes from a MIDI keyboard. And while like you get a good product, it's super polished, it's kind of lifeless. You can't really capture the emotion of the player in that. So miking up amps, throwing some mics on an acoustic kit, like it really does capture the essence of the artist.
Yeah. And that's
And
important, right? Because that's how you you have that person's thumbprints on that sound.
mhm,
Um, and that's just important. And you know, I think some of the tricks have maybe gone a little too far, right? Like one thing that scared me in the early days of Pro Tools, producers said, "Go in there and just play for vibe. We'll fix everything."
yeah.
And I was like, "Where does that lead?" You know, or you know,
I think it was Sebastian Bach when I think it was American Capitalist came out. No, I'm thinking Five Finger. Um American Metalhead. He dropped
uh-huh,
that album, but he said he went in and the producer was just like, "Yeah, so we're gonna do a little take here, a little take here, and that's gonna be your verse chorus. We'll just copy paste the rest." And he's like, "No, dude, I want to sing, I want to play over everything. Like let's
yeah,
make a song, let's make a track. Let's not take that out of it."
right,
And it saves time, sure, and I guess to the record companies it saves money, but like in the long run, what are you really doing? What are you really capturing?
right, right. I mean, that third verse or that last chorus, you're gonna want to hear that thing that happens, that
Yeah.
torque, right?
Hmm.
And if you've looped it,
It
where's
loses
that?
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, dude. I'm not big on taking the life out of a recording, out of a player.
yeah,
That's your artistic mark. You gotta
yeah,
you gotta capture that shit. But
exactly.
with the new Forbidden record, how many songs did you guys track for that?
So we recorded three, and then we're gonna record another six in October, just
Nice.
because of our liquid schedule. As things popped up and we had things to do, and then festivals here in August and
Hmm.
everything, it was just kind of like, oh well. And then like the mindset of what isn't record anymore.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Are we back to single releases and stuff like that? And then at the end of that, you compile an album and then make vinyl to sell at your merch booth.
Yeah.
Uh, you're not really manufacturing as many CDs anymore, and all that stuff. So we figured, hey, okay, well, let's just play modern ball in that sense
Hmm.
and be like, let's record three. That gives us 10-week releases, go record the next one, and then, all culminating hopefully in a May kind of release for the whole thing to come out.
That's exciting, dude.
Yeah, so we got three. Should be releasing the second thing. We're going in to record a video before we take off to Europe for that. Um, and yeah, so we're gonna kind of space it out. So October is when the culmination. So it'll probably be like with interludes, we're gonna do one acoustic thing and then one kind of instrumental thing. It'll be probably like 11 songs.
That's so sick, dude. I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear that. And I noticed with the Divided by Zero video, I just watched that this morning, that you
Uh-huh.
directed that, right?
Yeah, I worked with a guy he's an AI artist.
Nice.
And that whole controversy is what it is, right?
Hmm.
Is it going to ruin the world or is it a tool? And I'm of the mindset that just like the drum machine was going to ruin music or the TV was going to kill newspapers, and we can go all the way back to the steam engine is going to destroy the horse and buggy. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's like I'm of the mindset that, like, yes, each step of technology, it comes with a certain amount of fear, right?
Hmm.
And I can tell everybody for one thing, um, this guy at Crum Hill works his fucking ass off using AI as a tool. We're not just chat GBT, make a creepy video.
Right.
You know what I mean? He makes art, then puts it in, and then tailors it, and then we drop it because we did want something creepy, and we also wanted something that would have cost us $1 million. Like I had this hardcore vision in my head for this
Hmm.
video, and there's no revenue anymore in the industry to tap your record label for $300,000 to do your
Right.
dreams. And this has gone all the way down what I feel is like with the lyric video or the visualizer.
Right, exactly.
In a lot of ways, that's just like putting your arm behind your back and saying uncle, you know?
Right.
Um, because there's just no money in it, and it is very expensive to see your vision come to life.
Hmm.
So yeah, me and him worked our asses off on it, and then the editing to make it really make the continuity happen and everything. I worked with George Anderson to edit the video. So yeah, it was really interesting and cool, and everything, and it comes with a certain amount of blowback with the AI, but
I'm sure.
the song is about arguing to the sum of nothing. So I
Right.
think it's awesome. I think it's also kind of fitting that the song is about the same thing. It's just pointless argument, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really cool video, and was that like your directorial debut in videos, or have you done
I've,
other?
I've kind of directed the vision, but never got like credit for that.
Hmm.
So this next video that we're doing, which is going to be like a cool performance video, we're actually in it. I'm going to be co-directing that with Mike Sloat.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's gonna be cool. And second time doing that. I'm a bit of a production whore, and I'm a movie and video file. So, uh, yeah, so that's kind of we all have lanes in this band, which is really cool, man. Everybody's taken on some other part. Like, we're playing to the band's talents, right? So if
Right.
somebody's got numbers and business down, or vision for art, or social media work and stuff like that. So everybody's taking a lane, which is a little unique for some bands. There's
Right.
there's usually always like one or maybe two guys in the band that are full on,
I'm
and
seeing that. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
no, no, no. It's kind of common, right? So you get a James and a Lars, right?
Right. Right.
And everybody is like up to do whatever's needed.
Yeah.
So
Um,
it's cool.
I'm seeing that a lot more on a smaller scale. Like I work a lot with my local scene, and more and more bands are starting to take on multiple roles internally. Like someone's going to be
Yeah,
the video guy, someone's going to be the art guy, someone's going to be the business guy, someone's going to handle all the money. Like it's cool to see roles delegated out to make a project actually become something more. Um,
yeah.
and I'm glad bands finally snapped into that kind of responsibility and say like there's a way that we can do this that makes sense, and this is how.
You can't rely on lazy anymore, right?
No, no,
You can't do it.
dude, lazy costs money, and people just don't got it anymore.
Yeah,
Money
and it also breeds resentment within the band, right? I'm doing
right,
everything,
exactly.
and then all of a sudden there's a rift,
Hmm.
and so when everybody has a delegated role and then everybody's got their hand on the rope, it feels team.
Hmm.
So that's important because it's a platonic marriage, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so if everybody has a role and everybody has a part, then everybody has ownership and skin in the game.
Hmm.
So it's important.
Absolutely, man. And now, with Forbidden, this is a band that is just recently getting back together, right?
Right. Yeah.
They
It
were
was like 12 years off.
Wow, that's a long time, man. Long
Yeah.
time, but coming back strong as fuck, so that's good. But
Yeah. I had been bugging Craig for a long time about him getting the band back together
mhm,
just because, all of the Bay Area thrash bands are doing it or have been doing it.
yeah,
And, the big crux in doing that was, Rusty, the
mhm,
singer. Russ Anderson is a unique singer to thrash with the, Halford style,
yeah,
and not just a screamer or a yeller. So it was a little bit of the no Russ, no Forbidden thing going on,
yeah,
respectfully.
absolutely.
Um, but then again, when I first started bugging Craig about it, I was kind of belling Tim Ripper Owens or someone like that. And I had heard a couple other singers, but then I also knew about Norman.
Yeah,
And when I see him play, I'm like, God, this guy's got the pipes.
mhm,
And kind of worked it out in a weird way that we were doing that all-star band, and I had Norman come down to sing songs for Bay Area Interthrational,
yeah,
which was like a tribute to the birth of thrash in the Bay Area. And we were rehearsing with no vocalist, and all the musicians were getting lost. So I was like, we need a singer down here to guide this, you know?
Absolutely.
And he took that on, learned like 12, 15 songs.
Wow.
And man, he sounds like, he's got that same timbre and texture to his voice that Russ has. So it all fell into place. Everybody was like, whoa, this could happen. You know,
So,
it took it took some nudging for Craig.
oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's hard if like you have X amount of time away from something, you adjust to a different life. So
Yeah, yeah,
to bring it back, it's like if you're not active in it, it could fuck with you a little bit, you know?
sure, for sure, for sure.
Um, so now before Forbidden, like you said, you had the All-Star Thrash Band. You were doing the Boneless Ones for a bit. Are
Right.
both of those
With
still
Craig.
active?
No, we actually so Bayer into Thrashional we've done twice.
Okay.
We did the very first show ever was in Holland at the Dynamo Festival. Then we came home and did it in the Bay Area at the Great American Music Hall. And then we just did it again last year in Holland again at the Dynamo Festival. Um, it's a cool, fun thing to do. It's an
Mhm.
arduous task to get everybody on the same page and
Yeah.
get the players that are going to be, you got to have a little serendipity on your side uh, to pull it off. It'll probably happen again at some point.
Hmm.
But then with the boneless ones, Craig and I, we did that. We did the record, and then Forbidden gets back together. And I just had a sense that, which it has become a reality, is that Forbidden's schedule was going to be very liquid,
Yeah.
that things were going to be popping up. And Craig and I just didn't want to hamstring those guys and put them on a second tier of calendar time.
Right.
So we just thought it would be best if they moved on because
Hmm.
it's worth doing. So they have Rob Rampy now, the old drummer from DRI,
Nice.
and they got a new guitar player, and they're playing shows and they're moving forward. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, Craig and I have backed off that. It's 100% Forbidden right now.
And now talking to you before this, you said you're going overseas with this, right?
Yeah, we're going back. Yeah, we've been over there. Our first time over there was in 23, and we did a couple festival shows, we've done Bloodstock since then. We've
Oh,
done
cool.
Alcatraz. We've done some festivals. We've done some shows. But this one is going to be really cool because we're doing festivals and headlining shows starting on August 1st, and then our last show is Moto Couture in France on the 15th. So
That's
we go
sick,
over for
dude.
a little pre-production. I think we do 4 or 5 festivals with shows in between.
That's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, those I mean, I've never been to a European festival, but I watch all the videos and shit when they come out, and man, it just seems like there's nothing quite like it.
It's a trip because they get a little bit of government funding. They get big sponsorships, so it's done like on a next level, dude.
Yeah.
All the way down to like the food vendors and the amount of just bathrooms. You know what I mean? Like nothing's shorted on, right?
Yeah.
So everything is set up killer. They have the whole system down. The stages are great. The local crews, the backline companies, the stage managers, just they have it like clockwork. So they make it really easy. And the kids, they go to 4 and 5 festivals over there. I
Yeah.
mean, the festival season is a massive thing, and
Hmm.
it keeps the culture going. And there's a few in the United States that really do it well, as Milwaukee Metal Fest,
Yeah.
Hell Heroes, Aftershock. Um, there's a few, and it's getting bigger. There's even more now. So, but it's just harder here because you get a big grant from the Danish government or German. I mean they put money into the culture, and into music there, which we don't
Right.
do here.
No. We
You know,
yeah, we short a lot on the arts. And everything
yeah,
has to be self-funded and bank loans and
yeah,
all that kind of shit. And
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, West Coast seems to thrive with festivals. Over here in the Northeast, we don't really have anything anymore.
Right, right.
It's usually like Carolina Rebellion was a thing. Welcome to Rockville is a thing that keeps going now. Like I think the closest thing to Northeast that we got is Ohio. They
Right.
throw what I forget what the name of the Sonic Temple every year.
Sonic Temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean from where I am on Long Island, that's fucking 10-12 hour trip. So like
Sure.
it's not convenient to get to. But
Right.
we used to have little pop-up ones out here and they never really made money. They would always throw them in like the middle of nowhere. Like the last one I
Right.
went to was it was called Rockin' Derby. It was a music festival mixed with a like a car derby. So like, a
Oh
bunch
wow.
of cars crashing and shit. It was held in Shagdacoke, New York. I never fucking heard of that place before in my life. I won tickets from a local radio station, drove 6 hours up north, and I was like, all right, I guess this is it. Like legitimately in the middle of farm town. But
Right.
it was cool, but that was the last time we had shit like that. So
Right.
it seems like you gotta just make the travel arrangements and get out of here for that.
We're also, I mean, the other thing is the country is so fucking huge,
It
right?
is.
I mean, Europe benefits from being just,
Right.
they can bop all over the place. Flying to places is cheaper than it is here.
Yeah.
Intercontinental flights in Europe are very cheap,
Hmm.
so they benefit from the size and scope of their country.
Yeah. But if Danny Weimer ever wants to make an East Coast run, dude, like we're fucking ready for it.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
So, um, to go back a little bit, man, like as I said at the start of this, you've played with a lot of people. Like you've obviously played with Machine Head, and I want to touch on that in a little bit, but you also had Testament, you had Exodus, Death Angel. Like, what was it like sitting in those bands, filling those shoes, man? Like that's got to be such an awesome fucking feeling.
Well, it's funny because there's a there's a little batch of drummers that have all had those same jobs, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, the first time I was in Death Angel was after their Winnebago crash, where
Mm.
Andy Gallion was injured, but they had to get some dates fulfilled. So I went to high school with Mark and Rob, and came up in the scene with those guys. So that was a no-brainer, right? Let's just get it done. I know the stuff. Let's get it rehearsed and
Hmm.
and go do Japan. And then my time in Death Angel was that. And then even the same thing with like when I was in Exodus in '92, I had just joined Machine Head, and they were like, "You're not going to be in six bands, are you?" Because that was when we were young. I was younger. I was juggling a few different bands at a
Right.
time. Limited amount of drummers out here, so I was like, "No, no, no, I'm committed. I'm committed." Ring and Gary Holt, Okay. So I went down and did a replacement gig with them. And then Testament was kind of like they were in an interim position of not really knowing what direction it was going to go at that point.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was kind of longer than my runs with Death Angel and Exodus. But yeah, it just felt like family though, right? You got to realize that this is we all grew up together,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like small town kid hits the bigs or something with those guys. It was like helping out brothers and helping out our scene.
Yeah.
So that part of it felt great. Like we're all keeping each other going. But you've got Gene in Testament and Dave Lombardo in Testament and John Allen in Testament and Paul Bostaff in Testament. And then you got multiple people that were in Exodus. And so it's kind of a joke out here, the drum sluttery.
I mean, you are definitely among the ranks though, man. Like that's got to be for a fan's point of view looking in at that, like to see that you're among the names like Gene Hoglan and fucking like all these other drummers, dude. That's such a cool thing to see, like because you're from here, right? You're from New York City, right?
Yeah, I was born in New York, but I've lived out here most of my life.
Yeah, but like to see like one of our local New Yorkers have that kind of career out there, that kind of success, be regarded at that high of a level, like that's awesome, man. Even though
Oh,
like
I appreciate that, dude.
it's it's cool that all you guys kind of came up at the same time too.
Yeah.
That's I'm 37, so I wasn't around for like that whole like first rush of it, but looking back at the history of it, man, It's so
Yeah,
cool that so many bands were just born out of the Bay Area thrash scene. Like you guys
right.
fucking it's like California just was next level with everything music for such a long time. And none of those
Right.
bands are dead. Like they're all still going. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's a testament to the strength and the commitment of the fans and the culture too, right? It refuses to fucking die.
Yeah.
It keeps going. I mean, so many genres of music have can't come and went, you
Hmm.
know. But there's something about metal in all of its forms, all the different fractures of genres and everything you want to dice it all up. You can still all kind of compress it back into heavy metal.
Hmm.
And yeah, there was something special. I think the crossover thing had a lot to do with it too, with punk and hardcore mixing with metal and metal mixing with punk and hardcore. Um, Kind of the first area to stop fighting over haircuts and just appreciating great music in a thing. So, um, I think that led to helping thrash happen, and it also led to, a lot of punk and hardcore bands becoming more metal. And then
Hmm.
when you're talking about, the effect on the East Coast, you started hearing like Leeway
Yeah.
and Crumbsuckers and, even Cro-Mags and stuff. You started getting more junk, 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 junk in hardcore and punk music and stuff. And then you started hearing, more metal bands starting to strum three chord stuff, and like
Yeah.
opening up the strings and getting away just from A string to, you know what I mean? So it had a profound effect, on multiple levels, not just the music, but like the crowd interaction and how the pit worked and
Yeah.
how stage diving started happening. And everybody got something. It was the takeaway for everybody, and it just turns out like the Bay Area was like the proving grounds of all of that. I don't know if you've seen the documentary Murder in the Front Row.
I have.
Yeah, so you see all those bands, no matter how badass they were, they're all saying, but we had to take it to Ruthie's Inn.
Hmm.
If you it's like, if you make it out of Ruthie's Inn alive, your band has a real shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it was hard ground. It was no quarter given. If you sucked, I'm sorry, but we let you know. There
Yeah.
wasn't going to be it wasn't 10th place trophy, going on there,
Yeah.
if you suck. And you know, I think, it sounds harsh, but right now we're in a thing where you don't do a band any service if they're up there trying to create data for their band, right?
Right.
And they're like, what worked, what didn't work,
Hmm.
should we have a look? Do we need a look? If it's just claps after every band, no matter where they're at or what they bring to the stage, it doesn't do a band a service to
Right.
just say you guys were great. So you definitely didn't get that. I mean, one of the most famous stories is like this scene told Slayer to take off the makeup. You know what I mean? And
Right.
if the scene has the balls to fucking tell Slayer to take off the makeup, you're definitely going to get booed, maybe even booed off the stage,
Yeah.
And that gives the correct data. Now, a band has the opportunity at that point to go back to the garage and say, God damn it, we've got to ball out and fucking make this better. Or
Absolutely.
you wither and go away, you know?
I was talking to a friend of mine maybe 3 hours ago about the same thing, about how it's a hard conversation to have, especially if you're friends with these bands, to say, listen, like you have potential, but that ain't it. Like what you just did on stage isn't what's gonna make you any better. You guys got to go back and practice. You got to work on your songwriting. You got to work on like what's gonna sell you a little bit, because what you're doing just isn't doing, you know? And it
It's
sucks to be that
it should
honest,
be.
but like that, like what you said, you have to retrieve the data and process that to make it work. And I think that's why we see such a lull with bands that are just not making it out of their local scenes anywhere in the country, you know? It's
Right.
more bands are doing it because they have more of a social media presence, but then when you see them live, it's like, all right, I mean, views got you here. TikTok made you big, but like what are you bringing to the table? Like that was
Right.
as generic
Right.
and bland of a performance as possible.
Right. Well, in a lot of ways, I've said it before. I think somehow the bar got put on the ground.
Yeah.
And something about the Bay Area scene was like our bar was fucking damn near unattainable, you
Yeah.
know? There was no, and that's why you have bands like Death Angel, Heathen, Forbidden, Possessed, Sacrilege BC, like down the line.
Yeah.
Um, Everybody were like kids.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna just straight up say it, like we crush young bands now
Yeah.
that barely have it together, but it's like I think it's just kind of like a set it and forget it mentality. Like I think a lot
Hmm.
more people want to be able to say they're in a band
Yeah.
than be like, "Are you that guy from that band?" Like that's the reaction you want. You don't want to have
Hmm.
to say you're in a band. You want people to go, "Oh my God, I heard your band,"
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, it's weird times, man. It's weird. I always think back to that interview with Metallica where the girl says to Kirk Hammett, I mean to Cliff Burton, any advice for up and coming bands, and he goes, "Yeah, quit." And like that's harsh, but it's also an onion with multiple layers, right? There's only, it
Absolutely.
starts with there's only so many Fridays and Saturday nights.
Hmm.
So get out of the way if you're not special and bring in the heat,
Yeah.
right? And, it also speaks to like not everything's so special.
Hmm.
And if you're a band that plays for $25 or no money, you're just willing to play for no money. Well, you're part of the problem when a great band asks for $800,
Yeah.
right? Who work their asses off, who pay a lot of money at rehearsal and have great gear, and $800 pretty much makes the month float for
Yeah.
them. But then now you've said to the promoters or the venues, well, we'll play for nothing.
Hmm.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah. That's watering down everybody else's value.
It is. It is. And like you said, it's a hard conversation, dude, because rock in general and making it to the bigs and all that stuff is a bit of a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
It can be a very treacherous and daunting path to even
Hmm.
go down. And I think somehow it's become a lot easier to do, but are you actually making it happen and bringing a real entertainment value that people walk away from fucking blown away?
Right.
Because it is the entertainment industry and you are asking people for their hard-earned entertainment dollar, you
Yes.
know? So you got to bring it, you got to bring something special. It doesn't have to be Kiss, but it can't be just you're still covered in drywall and you're wearing Croc up there.
Exactly. I've always had that mentality. Like I haven't performed in a band in a few years now, but when I was performing actively, I always said the same shit, man. Like it's not enough to make great music. You have to give people something that they want to see too.
Hmm.
It can't just be like a bunch of dickheads on a band jumping around and headbanging because no one's gonna give a shit about that. What are you into?
Right,
What's gonna make your band stand out to a group of people? Your music
right,
is gonna get their attention. What's gonna make them remember you? And
right.
no one wants to see like we're all common dudes, especially in a local scene. Everyone knows that we have day jobs. Everybody knows that like we're coming from somewhere else or we're going somewhere else after this. But put a little fucking effort into it. Just a little
Sure.
bit of effort. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be like, you have, like you said, a Kiss wardrobe. It doesn't need to be that, but it has to be something, you know.
yeah.
Something
Well,
has to be.
yeah, yeah. I remember when the whole mentality was like from the bus to the stage, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or like, and it's like, well, somewhere that got lost in the middle was like Metallica kind of looked fucking cool coming off the bus.
Yeah.
They had the stretch jeans, the fucking discharge t-shirt, you got Cliff in the denim with the bell bottoms. They already kind of looked cool. So that might not pertain to the next guy,
Hmm.
you know? Um, you were totally right. It doesn't have to be gimmicky, but
Hmm.
at least show something like, bring some kind of persona, some stage presence. You know what I see a lot is that one band member gets it,
Yeah.
right? And then, the next guy's up there and his keys are still on his waist. He's got his phone in his front pocket. You know, it's a tough game.
Yeah.
It really is. And then genres start to change that too, right?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? If it's just fucking blue collar, hardworking fucking hardcore band, that might work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That maybe doesn't have to be that, but it's this giant sliding scale we have now. You know,
It's all
so many
about
different.
it's all about an aura. Like
Yeah,
you want to make sure, like you said, people should come up to you and be like, "Oh shit, you're in that band." It should never be like a, "Hey, look, I'm in a band," with your fucking like lanyards hanging off your pocket and shit, like just begging for the attention. But when I met you, right, New York City in 2020,
yeah,
you were just like, me and my buddy Tyler were waiting outside. We saw you walk past and we're like, "Oh fuck, that's Chris Kontos." But like you just look like the dude in the band. You look like a normal guy, super approachable guy, but you had a fucking aura about you that was like, I know who that is. You know?
right on.
It's
Yeah.
a
Well, I mean, for me, it's like I'm a fan. I want a drumstick. I want to
yeah,
I collect fucking, set lists.
same.
You know, I'm an autograph hound. I'm in the pit. I do stage dives. I fucking watch the opening bands because it's my culture, right?
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not trying to hide backstage or anything like that,
Hmm.
you know? And, I've always been, more into like the hardcore look and punk rock look and shit like that. So that's how I fucking dress.
Yeah.
So that's just me. I don't really get the whole hide from the crowd, trying to turn yourself into some Phantom of the Opera that is I think that the metal scene and the punk scene is too fucking fragile to have that kind of rock star standoff mentality. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We're too fragile.
Yeah.
There's too many things right now that are very, very thin ice in the
Hmm.
music industry. The way the industry works, the way the consumer takes the music now.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of things going on, dude, that's like borderline unsustainable fucking for music to consist on,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
so
crazy amount of
connectivity is a
changes.
thing.
What's up?
I said real connectivity is a thing, not just online.
Yeah. Um I've noticed that a lot of bands, especially coming out of the pandemic, had to back away from their own tours because the price of everything had gone up so much that they can't afford a bus. They can't afford like the shit that was normal, the shit that was like the
Huh?
label's gonna cover it or whatever before the pandemic is no longer
Uh-huh.
available.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but I saw somebody say that they had to cancel a tour because the bus was gonna cost them like $3 million or some shit. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of fucking money for a bus, for a rental to make sure that you have your crew taken care of, you have a driver, like that's nuts. And I'm assuming it's gotten better since more bands are coming out and doing their thing now, but like,
No.
no. Fuck,
No.
man.
What you got going on right now is it's a collision of like three or four things, right?
Yeah.
And this is another hard talk, right? This is another rough conversation to have. Um, okay, yeah, the pandemic was a reset for like bus companies and drivers, and yes, gas prices and
Hmm.
visa costs and the carnet, the list of everything that you bring on tour to go to Europe. All those prices doubled, if not tripled. Um,
Jesus.
because I just think there was a reset. And I think somebody said, when these guys come back, they're going to need it like fucking heroin.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and, not give it away anymore, you know? So what you could do for maybe 20 grand is now 110 grand.
Holy
Um,
shit.
like, and so that's real rough. But what's also going on is that, at the nucleus moment of Napster, record labels should have jumped on streaming.
Yeah.
And their failing is that they let it become a third party issue.
Hmm.
So record labels, if they would have started streaming, they would have based it on a living wage of publishing,
Right.
because at that time there was a set number for publishing and plays like on radio, and
Hmm.
they would have gauged it. But then it became, instead of being proactive, the record labels became reactive. And then I'm just going to say it, a lot of the blame with the revenue issues and the costs of everything is because the revenue has been stripped away by the consumer. The
Hmm.
consumer has lost sight of the passive exchange of money for art.
Hmm.
And just because they spent $1,150 on a phone doesn't mean you have the golden ticket to my chocolate factory.
Right.
And there's a level of entitlement, and there's also a dark trick going on because unlike Napster at the time, they're told that the musicians are being paid. It's just they've now slowly figured out, and it's slowly come out that we're getting fractions of a penny per play,
Hmm.
you know? But the trick was, oh, well, I pay my fee and that means the band gets paid, right? It's like, yeah, but you know, you can get,
Right.
1,500 plays will make you $12.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like that's not sustainable right there.
Right.
So, especially when it comes to metal and comes to, you know, more alternative music, that money is like desperately needed, you know? And without the record label being able to sell hard copies, the revenue is fucking gone. So you
Right.
don't get tour support anymore. You don't get a lot of the cubicles in a record at a record label, marketing department, radio department, like all this. It's a lot of these labels are now they got 6 employees,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum, dude. I know bands that are working in either have filed for bankruptcy or are working in loss just to keep the brand name out there.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrifices, for Forbidden coming back after so many years, but then being like received in a way that we are with like main stage touring and like boom, it was like us hitting hyperspace as a startup company.
Right.
uh, we don't have the filter of money or the longevity money that can create some kind of, so we've had to come up with all of it on point, and
Hmm.
we're not signed. We don't have anything behind us. I mean, we are like a DIY punk rock band at
Yeah.
this point. We're doing everything, and we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but like that's what we we have to do. We have to
Hmm.
rely on the next show to get what we just did paid back or done. And but that's the fury we have for it.
Hmm.
We're really driven to make this happen. We're enjoying it. We're stoked that people are enjoying the single and stuff, and everything, but we want to tour, we want to do the thing, but we have to be selective. You have to be so much more selective now
Right.
in what you do, because like one fell, one slip could fucking end it, you
Right.
know?
Legitimately.
So
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough right now, dude. We're in a very strange landscape as far as costs go.
Hmm.
And, you know, we'll see if something happens. I don't know if it's going to just take somebody's real big favorite band to come out and say, we are done. We can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, bye.
I
You know,
think, I mean, I know that that's happened with a lot of bands where they had to call it a day because it just got to be more expense than profit. And like
yeah,
if you're not even breaking even, that's a scary place to be in. Um
woo,
it's also pretty unfortunate because that's
yeah,
the story for a lot of bands now, is that
yeah,
they're not crossing that profit margin and they're relying a lot on like merch and shit. But dude, you said yourself with vinyls, like vinyls are expensive as hell to make. Like those shits are not cheap, and you have to
no,
invest it the right way, otherwise you're not going to make that money back. But
right,
like for me personally, like I buy vinyls. I don't have a CD player anymore, and I hate that. The car that I bought, like it doesn't have a CD player. Has everything else. Has like an aux
right,
cable, a Bluetooth hookup and shit. But I'm like, I need my fucking CDs. My fucking
yeah,
computer doesn't have a CD player. So I start collecting vinyls, and I have a record player and shit. So that's cool. But like when I go to a show, I always make it a point. Like if the band is buying a vinyl, I'll buy a vinyl and a shirt. I'll
yeah,
do something to
yeah,
support that band. Like, yes, I have Spotify. Yes, I have the podcast on Spotify and shit, but I go out of my way to make sure that I'm still buying physical music too. That's the
right.
important thing for bands. Um, and I feel like people need to realize that because people are so used to a pop culture scenario where The streams turn into Grammy nominations and sold out tours, and like not everyone's gonna be a Sabrina Carpenter, dude. Not everyone's gonna have that
No,
level of success where it's like overnight, here you are, and now you're like a fucking multimillionaire. It's not that way with real
it's
music. And
not.
I'll call it real music because the people that play the instruments, that sing the songs, that write themselves, those are the ones that are suffering with it. So
Yep.
I feel bad about the aspect of like, in a way, everyone says Lars was right, with Napster.
I was just gonna say this, dude.
Lars was ahead of it.
He
he
was,
he
and he
saw the
was not
problem.
talking. He was not talking about his money.
No.
He was talking about fucking chipping the dips, little ass band that's gonna get utterly fucked.
Hmm.
And it took a long time for people to come around to that.
Hmm.
You know, my mom, my dad, and my mom were both in the record industry,
Hmm.
and in hindsight, I remember decades ago, my mom saying that someday with technology, music will just be out there.
Hmm.
And I was like, at that time, I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? But she was right.
Yeah.
She was totally right. I think that conversation started with Dick Tracy's telephone watch,
Yeah.
right? His TV watch. And she was like, you'll have those one day, though that's going to be a thing. And I was like, well, and in that conversation, my mom told me, look, someday there's not going to be as much money as there is now in the music industry. So fill your heart, not your wallet, right?
Yes.
And that kind of brings us back to where I was saying, like culturally, that's why I like to meet people, go out, hang out with people, go to all the cool places, see the castle, eat the cool food that's in town, not the McDonald's,
Exactly.
like get all that stuff in because that's where the pay dirt is really in the end,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
And nobody wants to talk about how broke they are either, bro. That's another like fucking whole, you know, MTV Cribs mentality that's going on where like nobody wants to say they actually drive Uber and then they're a rock star
yeah.
at the same time. And again, that doesn't do anybody any service coming into this industry as a youngster thinking that, you know, Chris Kontos is a millionaire. Fucking not even fucking close. I'm a top ramenaire. You know
Hey
what I
man,
mean?
there's no shame in that shit though. Like
At all.
it's
At all. And there shouldn't be, you know?
but you're definitely right though. Like it's more about a life fulfilled than it is like what's in your bank account. And
100%.
I will always stand on top of that. It's did you
Yeah.
make the most out of what you aim to do, or did you let that dictate something else that you were trying to do? Like
Right.
so many bands, man, like I a few years ago, right? I got engaged and I told my wife like for our engagement pictures, I'll get my hair cut. I had really long hair. So I found a local barbershop and Joe Bed from Fit for an Autopsy was cutting hair there. I went to Joe and he cut my hair for me. But like, dude, he's famous. Like in Europe and shit, he's a famous dude.
Oh, yeah.
He's telling me about how Fit is about to go on this monster run in Europe and shit, and I'm like, that's fucking crazy to me that you're here cutting hair. But he's like, you'd be surprised how many people in this industry are just barbers on the side because that's a good way to make cash on the road.
Yep.
And he was telling me that there's dudes in Whitechapel that do it. I'm like, that's nuts. And like it shatters the illusion, but in a really good way.
A really good way.
it's a very humbling thing to be like, you guys are the most normal fucking dudes out there. And honestly, I don't love the millionaire aspect. That's not anything I could relate to. That's like,
Right.
I don't know. Like I could say that a band like Metallica, right? They are rich as fuck, but they
Right.
donate so much of their time and so much of their money, and they do
Yeah.
everything they can to make sure that kids have support, like
Yeah.
local schools and shit. Like that's something to me that resonates hard. That's like
Big time.
you are that rich, but you're still giving nonstop,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, and that to me says like you're blessed with something and you're just trying to pass that on, pay it forward, pay it forward. But then there's other people that have nothing and they're still paying it forward. You know,
Yeah.
that's cool to me
Yeah.
that you can give an experience and you can give a memory. Um,
Yeah.
that's important. And for
Yeah.
yourself, like there's bands that, like you were saying, you go to a place, do a unique experience, eat the good food, don't go to McDonald's. There's so
Yeah.
many bands that do just that. Trivium is
Oh
big
yeah.
on that. Huge. The singer
Yeah.
Matt, like he's a major food guy, and he always posts pictures on his Instagram and tells his fans like, "I want to go to your local spots. Tell me where your best local food is." And
Yeah.
like, dude, if that's your money well spent, man, enjoy your life, dude. That's what it's all about. Make your impact, enjoy
Totally.
your life, though.
Totally.
You can't take it
Yeah.
with you.
No, you can't. And more money, more problems usually,
Yeah.
right? And like people try to, a little bit, people are I've seen people bombing on the whole meet and greet thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking do this and ask my fans for that and blah blah blah. But what people don't understand is like there's no extra bonus cash from that. That is like half of the tour bus money, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or, you like our fucking light rig, or you like the way we have the fucking video screen, or you want to see some production. Yeah, that's all of that,
Hmm.
right? So it's like, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Yeah.
You know? And so it's it's like I said, it's fragile. It's on the edge of not sustainable right now. And I hope something gives at some point where it makes it a little bit easier and there's a little bit more of an exchange going on between the listener, the provider, and the band, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be coming together at some point. Now, $64,000 question, I don't know the answer to,
Right.
I don't. But I'll be damned if I'm going to stop doing it because of these fucking hazards. That's for damn sure.
Right.
You know, you just got to press through. You know what I mean? But I'm also be damned that I'm not going to put some of this stuff out so there's not a disillusion
Hmm.
either for the customer or for the young player, the person coming into the mix. I think that some of the it's all good, but it ain't
Yeah.
fucking mentality needs to go away. So people have a clear shot and a clear vision, and also knowing the parameters. A little bit of an instruction manual needs to go out, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I've said for a long time, there's too many people that you could say like quote unquote made it in the business, but they're not doing anything to hold the door open for the next gen to come through. Like they're not saying
Right,
like this is what you should look out for, stay away from this kind of shit. They're just like, yeah, you know what, make your own mistakes, fuck it up for yourself. But like I get that. I totally get that. But I feel like if like there was more level-headed people in the industry that's like I'm gonna help you guys. I'm gonna mentor you, or I'm gonna help like walk you through this, or be a point of contact for you. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of bands out there that are getting completely ripped off. And I know I don't gotta tell you, man, you've seen this shit forever,
yeah,
but like it's worse and worse and worse. And like promoters are not promoters anymore. And like it's just for the smaller bands, they're getting taken advantage of. They're being forced to have shit that they don't want to have. Like
right,
I'm pretty against the whole TikTok thing. I think that I see the point of the platform, but it's a very superficial platform for me. Like to know that there's so many bands out there that are getting signed to these labels that part of the condition is you need to have a TikTok presence. Like, all right, but that's not gonna do shit for you if you don't want it. It's not gonna do shit for you and fans that matter. That's gonna be fans that go to
right,
the show that's like, oh, I want to hear that one song. And
yeah,
when if and when you don't play that one song, then you lose 80,000 fans. You know, like
right,
I
right.
feel like that just adds to the fragility of the overall industry right now.
Yeah, because what you're getting is you're not getting true culture people that live and die with this fucking music. You get looky loos,
Exactly.
you know?
All the let's go see Metallica because of Stranger Things type shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like good for Metallica, good for the scene, good for
Hmm.
the thing, but is it, what do you garner, out of looky loos? Do they become lifelong metalheads that like discover metal and go, oh my God, life changer? Or is it just like, oh, I got that in. Yeah. I got my little iPhone footage of that. And
Right.
I threw up the horns, like, yeah,
The
that's a tough one, man.
the
That's a
po
tough one.
the poser culture is huge right now, and I don't love
Right.
that.
No, I don't love it. I don't love it either. I don't love it either. I don't like, look, I take great disdain in Chris Brown in a fucking hardcore British looking, punk rock jacket.
Yeah,
Like I don't really give a fuck if somebody wants to call that weird. Look, that's fucking just appropriating my fucking shit.
yeah.
It cuts both ways,
Hmm.
The
It's
Kardashian, all these fucking influencer fucking nothing people wearing fucking a, Cannibal Corpse t-shirt. It's like
exactly.
I don't know what that is. It's fucking weird,
They're not the kind of people that would ever turn on a Cannibal Corpse
Fuck
song
no.
either.
Fuck no.
It would scare the shit out
Fuck
of them.
no. Yeah. Or they would
But
be totally appalled, right? Because they would
right,
hear a couple songs from Cannibal Corpse and it would go completely against their value and their
right.
issues and the shit that they stand on, right?
Yeah, people are afraid of what they don't understand. And if you don't understand what a band like Cannibal Corpse actually is, like it's
Right.
never going to be for you. It just
Yeah.
don't fake it though. Don't fake it. It's not, it's nothing to be ashamed of if you're not the one wearing the Cannibal Corpse or the Metallica shirt or the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction shirt. Like if
Right.
if it's not for you, it's not for you, but don't pretend like it is. Like that's
Yeah.
I feel like metalheads like we're a unique brand, right? We
Yeah.
always say like gatekeeping is so shitty, you should never gatekeep, but then at the same time, we're the biggest fucking gatekeepers. But like we're doing that to protect our culture, right?
Fuck yeah.
Like
Fuck yeah.
if I were to go to a show and I see a bunch of like I've seen it before, I can't stand it. The girls that are just sitting there in the middle of the pit, like dancing around instead of moshing, and there's someone holding a camera filming them do it. Like this isn't for you. Just please get the fuck out of here. This is not for you. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get hurt first of all, and no one wants to see you get hurt. But
Right.
don't make that a problem for someone else because
Yeah.
someone else is gonna have a shitty night because you'd rather pretend, you know?
Sure. Sure. This isn't a dress up culture, right?
Right.
You
This
don't get to play house here.
this is very much a be who you are kind of culture. It's a
And celebrate it and celebrate everybody else doing it too
yeah.
around you. Yeah.
This is a very inclusive, very everybody's welcome, but don't make an asshole of yourself kind of thing.
Or us.
And
Don't make an asshole of everybody here either
right.
by taking
Um
it flippantly.
yeah, exactly. And it's a thing that like, I'm glad that people take seriously. I'm glad that people are like, listen, you're not safe here. Like you need to go stand off
Yeah.
to the side. You need to go in the back because everyone looks out for each other, but no one's looking out for someone like not on purpose anyway. No one's going to be looking out in a pit for someone who's videotaping themselves. It's going to be a
Right.
matter of like there's a pit happening and you're going to be collateral damage in this. Please, I don't want you hurt. If you want to be a fan, go be a fan, but be a fan and understand the culture and understand what you're in and a part of.
Yeah.
But don't wear the t-shirt, go to the show, be like, oh my God, Mosh. And then like, you know, like you actually were not a part of that. Um, and like I don't mean to sound like an asshole if I am. It's just it's a thing that's like it's a very prominent part of the show experience is that you kind of respect the experience, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, part of the allure of the San Francisco punk rock hardcore scene when I was young was that weird, intense feeling of, am I going to make it home alive tonight?
Yep.
And the very thin veil between fucking violence and a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to a young kid the other night, and he goes, "You know what I don't like right now?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "These people doing rowing and push-ups in the pit, right?" And I mean, I'll tell you, at Ruthie's Inn, if people would have started doing push-ups in the pit,
Hmm.
I personally know about 6, 7 guys that would have been stomping on fingers or
Yeah.
running across backs, right? We were already walking on people's heads and
Yeah.
like doing shit like it's not fucking kindergarten in here where we're all gonna go row,
Right.
bro, like I get it for Amon Amarth, right? Because
Hmm.
okay, it has context to the whole Viking ship thing, right? I get it. But now it's every little gig here in town, where it has no context and everybody's, I don't know. It's not for me for damn sure.
Yeah.
But I would not flinch if somebody went and just stomped all over everybody sitting on the ground, because what the fuck are you sitting on the ground in the pit for?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's getting a little soft at times, a little bit like let's all participate and
Yeah.
that that's another diminishing factor, right? It's
Hmm.
like, taking no pay. Earlier we were talking about like waters it down, and then
Hmm.
how far are we going to water this down till it's fucking gone? You
Hmm.
know, and that's part of the problem as well. You know, it's still
Yeah.
and it goes right to the whole clapping for bands that suck, and there's
Hmm.
like, the 10th place trophy mentality, and how kids are brought up in safe spaces. I'm sorry, Tanner, and fuck you, mom, like that whole mentality, like, the whole entitlement. It's starting to wash
Yeah.
over everything, right? It's
Yeah.
starting to have it's permeating every factor in life. And then you bring in the entitlement and all that other stuff, and then that affects how the customer, I mean, it's all connected. It's all connected on every level. It's a trickle down effect.
Hmm.
And it's not leading to a lot of fortitude and, you know, moxie and internal fiber for anybody.
Yeah.
It's
It's
weakening
it's
the fabric.
it's weak character development. It's something that, more bands, artists, people need to experience, is things that are going to build your character up. Right now, everyone's trying to pretend like we're all very unique, and everyone should be given a reward for something. And truth be told, that's not the case. It did so much for me as a kid to win and lose, right?
Yeah,
I like my generation was the one that started with the participation trophy shit, and I hated it. I was so, I want to win. I don't want to lose. And when someone tried to give me a participation trophy, I was like 7, and I gave it back. I was like, I don't want this. I didn't earn this. Like, I
yeah,
want to win. I want to know that I did something to earn that, and because I'm the best at it. And if I'm not good at
yeah,
it, tell me I suck so I could do better next time. I
yeah.
don't, I'm not big on the, well, you tried. Everybody
Right,
tries, dude. Everybody tries, but failing is a part of trying. And if you fail, that means that you have something to work towards to get better. And if you're not going to put
right.
the work towards it to get better, then you don't deserve it. Plain and simple. Like, you got to cut your teeth, man. You got to, like, you really
Oh,
got to
big time.
you got to grow. That's what it
Well,
all
funny,
comes down to.
funny you're talking about that, because like all that behind me is all my BMX stuff, right?
Yeah, dude.
I started racing BMX in 2014. Never been on a racetrack at BMX. I bopped around on BMX bikes when I was a kid. I fell into a coma, and I was in a coma for like 5 days. And when I woke up, I was spouting about racing BMX like on a national level. And people were like, "What, dude? What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, I'm like, "No, I'm going to do this." And I basically quit music.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was like 370 pounds, 329 pounds. And I started this progression, right? But the thing that was the coolest fucking thing about BMX to me was the amount of crying
Yeah.
because of loss.
Hmm.
Because there's first, second, and third only.
Hmm.
Only. Everybody else, go cry on your dad's shoulder, go fucking kick your bike, go fucking pedal harder. And
Hmm.
all the other sports that I heard people participating in and stuff, and their kids participating in, especially if they were my age, were having real problems with like the whole eighth place, 10th place, whole thing. And the mentality that we all had was like second place is the first loser.
Yeah.
And like, all that. And it was a real fucking jolt for me to see it, because, kids would get better. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, you would see kids like, yeah, like, crying about it, and then their dad would be like, it's because you didn't pedal in the entire second fucking straight.
Right.
And then the kid would address it, and all of a sudden the kid's a bomber, right?
Hmm.
He's just killing it, you know? And yeah, like you were saying, man, this is it's a watered down sense of character, and it's not a good thing at
No.
all. It's not creating um a society that is, gonna change itself.
Right.
It's gonna be a society that cries about it. And I think
Hmm.
we're in that a lot. I think we're in that a lot right now.
Yeah.
And I know we said no politics, but the one thing I will say is that this whole thing we've been talking about, people are picking the wrong fucking mountains to die on.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I'll say about it. Is it's creating people not really engaging in the right thing, but just the topics and the individual little issues and stuff. And we'll see where it goes, man.
Yeah.
It could be just Ice Age is the fix. Cut to barren wasteland.
So I do want to ask you, dude, being a big Machine Head fan, I do want to ask you about that a little bit. Um, Obviously, we said before, if you want to know the story about some shit, go look it up. It's out
Right,
there.
right, right, right.
I'm
Yeah.
not wasting your time on that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I do want to know though, because there's a lot of people that were discovering you and Logan for the first time back in like 2018, 2019, 2020. What was that like for you to have that resurgence, to come back and be like, this is what I built, you know?
Right. It was trippy. It was cool. There was it ended really gnarly. So to have the opportunity to fucking go from 25 years old to 50 whatever and kind of squash that beef with Rob,
Yeah.
and really actually become closer than we ever were, and also put a nice big stamp on the legacy that is the Burn My Eyes album.
Hmm.
There's no escaping. I never pushed back on like, oh, Davidian, if someone yells that or whatever, or you know what I mean. It makes me feel good. I'm appreciative, and I have gratitude that people enjoyed that music, and the drummers or musicians that were inspired by that album. That's all the point, right? That's
Hmm.
like the shit that I was inspired by, right? How am I going to shit on that? There's no way to do that. But getting back up there with Logan, and yeah, there's an asterisk on it because there was no Adam Deuce,
Yeah.
but that was unfixable. So I had, you just got to swallow that pill. But getting back up there and feeling that and bringing that heat of that first record again, and the new fans that were like, they went back in the catalog because maybe it starts at like the blackening for them or something, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? And so to be able to look back and see what the fiber and the roots of the band really were, it was cool, it was fulfilling, it was fun, it was cathartic. There was a lot of like cool reconnections with people that I hadn't seen since those days, the early days of Machine Head, that I got to meet up again with, or old fans that I've watched kind of be fans for the whole time and then see them again and stuff. And the crew on that tour were fucking awesome. Um, the relationship amongst the band, because he brought Vogue in and he brought
Yeah.
Adam. I mean, he brought Matt Alston in, and so they would do the two sets, right? Go
Hmm.
from kind of greatest hits to Burn My Eyes, and the camaraderie amongst everybody. Me and Matt shared the same drum set,
Yeah.
and so there was like this cool, cohesive kind of energy. We'd do a big circle before they would go out and do their set. And then when they were coming off stage and we were about to go on, we'd do another circle and they would send us on stage. And,
Oh, that's cool.
Rob's a fucking monster for being up there for fucking that long,
Yeah, man.
I mean, Jared too, but like Rob, dude, does, it's not just the singing, dude. It's all the crowd commands and the extra shit. I mean, the dude just keeps fucking going. It's like absolute beast mode.
Yeah, man.
So it was all in all, dude, really a great experience. I was fucking heartbroken that COVID cut it in half. Well, way more than half. We only did, I mean, there was probably going to be about 7 legs of that tour
Wow.
worldwide. Oh, we left a lot on the table, bro.
Yeah.
A lot. And I know that Machine Head took a colossal hit financially,
Yeah.
um, because of that, because everything was front loaded in costs,
Hmm.
right? And the fact that they've been able to bounce back and are having such a great success with the festivals and moving forward with the new record and stuff,
Hmm.
two new records since. Um, but yeah, closer to the atoms and the little gene, DNA of Machine Head just expanded in my vision. I get it now in a different way. Seeing that response and that reverence for the band, and those early days, it was great, dude. I wouldn't change a second of that reunion at
That's
all.
awesome.
Except fucking COVID.
Yeah. Well,
It almost killed me twice.
the drum intro to Davidian is
Yeah,
regarded as one of the best drum intros in modern metal music. And I've seen Machine Head play a bunch, but seeing the dude that wrote it sit behind the kit with that big fucking smile on your face and just lay into it,
yeah.
man, that like as a fan, that put me on a different plane, dude. That was so
Oh
cool to
man.
see that. And like I said, man, that was the New York City show. That was a fucking awesome night. That was also legitimately weeks before COVID hit. So that was my last
Oh,
big show
no, dude.
before the thing.
COVID was there because I got sick there. I
Yeah.
had 4 days off
Oh
after
God.
that show. Everybody else went to Buffalo to watch the Super Bowl
Oh
and
no.
before we went into Toronto. And pretty funny, dude. I forgot my passport and forgot that we were going to Canada.
Oh shit.
So after that show, our tour manager said, "Hey, everybody, put your passports in the basket." And I went, "Oh fuck." So I had to stay in New York. My wife had to FedEx my passport, and then I was going to fly to Toronto. Well, over those 4 days, I was hanging out with all my fucking boys from the hardcore scene and bopping around, and I ended up with COVID, right?
Hmm.
COVID classic. And I'll tell you, I had every fucking symptom you ever heard about.
Yeah.
Uh, it was fucking brutal, and most everybody got sick on that tour. By the time we finished that tour, um, I guess we finished on the 23rd of February.
Hmm.
Uh, dude, I mean, people were sick as Rob was sick as fuck. We only canceled 2 shows uh, on that whole run, and I don't know how we played through it, but I mean, dude, I had 100 and fucking two temperature 2 times on stage.
Oh
Rob
God.
was collapsing backstage after certain shows. And it was so weird because like our live stream director and our tour manager and shit, they were the ones that ended up getting the sickest. But then we had every level, right? So there was
Yeah.
like myself, Rob, and Logan were like next, and then some people felt shitty, and then some people were like, "Oh, I got the sniffles, let's get to work."
Yeah.
So we had like a whole little like graph of the severity that it could hit any individual.
Yeah. For real,
Fucking
man.
brutal. Fucking brutal.
So
But what a great fucking show, man. That's the night the fucking something I love and have always loved is when somebody in a fucking wheelchair gets
I
to
was
fucking crowd surf,
just
dude.
gonna say that, man. I was just gonna say that. I love that shit. I was right there. I like helped carry the guy over the barricade and shit. That was I love seeing that on just a communal level. Like that really shows you what the metal community's about, you know.
Fucking A.
I that show aside, I saw As I Lay Dying on like their reunion, the first one.
Uh-huh.
Um Everyone cleared a space in the pit. There was someone in a wheelchair that wanted to mosh. So like
Yeah.
we had a little circle and like everyone was just like pushing around with him and shit. I ended
Yeah.
up floating him across the crowd too. Like it was fucking
Fuck
it's
yeah.
so cool when that shit happens, man.
Love it, dude.
It really shows you that like we all got each other's backs, you know?
100%, dude. Even I've seen it even in other genres of music, right?
Hmm.
It's just always a unifying moment and always a cool thing, and I just thought that night was so cool because as it was happening, so it was in pick it up, pick it up, pick it
Yep.
up, get up, right? So I'm behind the drums, and I knew Rob was gonna go. I just knew it. I felt it. I knew he was gonna say, "Keep him up, keep him up, keep him up," right? And so it was like fucking perfect, right? Perfect. I fucking got goosebumps right now, dude. Yeah, great fucking night. I had a bunch of friends there from the scene, and just it was fucking cool, dude. That's my home. I had my brother there, and
Oh,
it
that's
was
cool, man.
fucking awesome, dude.
That was a really special show. There was
Yeah,
like it was a different energy in the room that night. Like it was a very I don't know. It's hard to say because the last time I saw Machine Head before that, they still had Phil and Dave in the band, and that was kind of closing a chapter to welcome in the new. I remember, like I had the meet and greet pass that night too, and when I met Alston, I said to him like, "Good luck with the show, dude. Like you're gonna kill it." He's like, "They're gonna fire me, dude." Like he's like, "I'll stick around if I don't fuck this up first." I was like, "I don't think that's happening, man." But like. It's like just have fun, man. Like don't sweat this kind of shit. And dude, I've never heard those songs played like that before. Like he's such a fucking powerhouse. And
great drummer, dude. He took on so much, dude.
yeah,
And I give that guy a lot of fucking props, bro, because he's under my fucking umbrella. He's under fucking Dave's umbrella, and it's like talk about filling big shoes and all that
yeah,
stuff, dude. And it was daunting and overwhelming, and I am so fucking stoked, dude. We're really close.
yeah,
We bonded on that fucking tour. And he made a lot of concessions on his configuration too, like to make sure that kit suited my needs,
hmm,
and then, he really put himself second in that, which I commend him for and was super cool and gracious. Um, but I am so fucking stoked that he is on this new album. COVID fucked him too out of a
yeah,
couple, where they weren't able to get him over here. And you got, Naveen and you got Carlos Cruz, recording for
yeah,
Machine Head and stuff, right? And every time that was happening, I was just like, fuck. Because I so wanted him to just put his feet in the cement,
yeah,
of Machine Head and leave that. And I am fucking so happy for him and thrilled.
yeah, dude.
Uh,
It's well earned.
it's fucking well earned, man.
He took on a lot, and like aside from
Yeah.
like filling Dave and you, like he also had to earn the respect from the fans too. And like
Oh yeah.
metal fans could be kind of fucking unforgiving with some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I watched a bunch of the videos and shit just because I like to do that. But seeing him play, I was like, I think that this guy's gonna be here for a while. I think he's gonna be just fine. And
Yeah.
man, he crushed so hard. And every time I've seen them since, he is just an animal on that kit. Like,
Yeah, he's a badass.
yeah, he really is. And it's awesome that he's finally on a record. He finally has that stamp in the history of that band. Like it's fucking
So digging that.
yeah,
So fucking digging that, man.
yeah, yeah. The new album was crazy. It's so fucking
Yeah.
good. But
Yeah, he's doing some crazy shit on there. It's cool.
yeah, man. And it's cool that like you're still a fan after all these years too. Like that's awesome that you still have that kind of support for them. That's
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, even, more so after that, that after we really, because there was like a hellish period of that breakup, and then there was like
Yeah.
a kind of we would be, cordial
Yeah.
at shows. But then it started to get in before the reunion happened. It started to get into like standing at the soundboard or, watching a band together. And Rob would be there, and we'd be like, all this. Now we're starting to do like the singing in each other's face. If like we're at Priest or something, or we're at Iron Maiden, and we were just like fucking, singing fucking lyrics at each other. And then I was feeling like, oh, this is starting to fucking now loosen up. So much time has gone by, you
Yeah.
know, and I went and saw them a few times leading up to the thing, and I've always been really close with Dave too, and
Yeah.
I'm close with Phil, right? So as that was deteriorating, you know, you know, people are
Yeah.
talking and there's things and indiscrepancies, and you know, I made it very clear that there was going to be no side taking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with you. I'm cool with them. I'm cool with I'm not going to let your guys' beef fucking get in my way of enjoying all of your company.
Right. Exactly.
And then after we get together and we do the reunion thing and then it gets kiboshed, like, I love going to their shows because I see their crew. We had all this bonding go on. We took this terrible blow all
Yeah.
together, being so fucking sick and worried about each other. And then the waiting too, even through COVID, was crazy because we were all on the phone together. Like, remember October, right? When it was going to all be gone in October. So we rebooked all those dates.
Oh God.
So like we were all like, dude, we're gonna make it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna be clear. And it just as it never happened. So like I'm super close with Vogue, dude. My wife's a huge decap fan. I'm a huge decap fan. Uh, you know, it just it and then when Reese comes in, I fucking love fucking Havoc.
Yeah.
And Reese is fucking crazy cool. So it's like this extended fucking crazy family now, you know?
Yeah,
Went and
man.
saw them. I saw them at Bloodstock when they were the secret band in 22.
Oh, nice.
And it was funny because I was already going over there and I didn't know that they were the secret band, right? And we did that 20, what was it? The 20 something of Burn My Eyes live stream,
Hmm.
right? Where Rob gave us the gold records and everything. Well, I didn't know that they were going, but I knew I was going. So I said, hey, everybody, see you at Bloodstock. And I guess I kind of, it
Oh
was
no.
like shit because everybody was like, oh my God, Machine Head's coming. Right. But I was just going to see King Diamond because I was going over there to play with the Boneless Ones and Bay Area International.
Hmm.
So Rob tells me, and Rob says, hey, do you want to jump up and play Davidian? And I was like, absolutely fucking not.
Mm.
Like, this is Dave's fucking moment. This is his home country. I'm sorry, Matt. My wife's all Matt, Matt, Matt. Um, no, but this is Matt's fucking territory, man. This is like no way, Like let's let him do the set. So I was doing stage dives and crowd surfing and shit. Like so, yeah, we're all really close, dude, and have a lot of respect for each other now, and it's a good thing, dude, because you close a chapter of darkness and you expel some cancerous fucking black tar of hate and resentment and all that shit, and you just get to vanquish all that. So
Yeah.
it's a
I'm
cool fucking cautionary tale mixed with a happy ending.
Yeah, man. It's a really cool story. Like ultimately, from the start of everything to what happened to how it ended up. Like it's a really cool thing. It's a very like
Yeah,
open and closed chapter, and I'm glad that you're back a part of that. To the
yeah,
extent that like you are at a comfortable place with it,
sure,
that you're
sure,
still friendly with the guys, that there's all like it's back to a brotherhood, That's
yeah.
that's awesome to hear, you know.
And we still fucking keep the gate, the door is open for the potential of possibly even some regional stuff that happens again for BME.
Yeah.
It's a sore spot for all of us. We're kind of like, fuck. We have if there's any redemption or anything like we have, we're like, well, maybe that will, it happens. The talks come up, like maybe
Yeah.
here, maybe there, this could happen if the timing's right, you know. So who knows? Maybe it'll
But
happen again.
we're leaning on like what, 30 years now, right?
Yeah,
So that'd be
that's safe.
cool.
That's a safe number.
That'd be cool to get to experience that
Yeah,
again, dude. That's
fuck yeah.
time in my eyes, that's timeless music. That is the early days of so many different things. That's a transition from like the old scene to the new metal scene with elements of the thrash, with elements of metalcore. Like there's so much shit happening on that record.
Yeah,
Um, and it really set the pace for the rest of the career for Machine Head, and
sure,
it set the
sure.
pace for you to take off too. Like you've done so much fucking shit, man. It's
Yeah.
it's really cool. Like I've heard a lot of bands cover Davidian. I've heard a
Uh-huh.
lot of bands cover just random Machine Head songs here and there, but like the impact that record has had on how many people, it's astonishing, dude. It really is. Like
That's
I
humbling.
feel like
It's definitely fucking humbling, dude. Because I revere influences so much, right? Like for me, I almost feel like I wear my influences on my sleeve.
yeah.
And to be all of a sudden caught on the back side of that
Hmm.
is like, whoa, fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Because like, just in my mind to think like, okay, what John Bonham is to me, to even put myself in some other kid's, you know what I mean, mainframe that way
Yeah.
is just, it's weird. It's fucking weird, but humbling, and I know it's important, right? I mean, look,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to be an ego asshole about it, but you can accept your legacy and accept that, like, wow, mission accomplished in a way, right?
Yeah.
What are we in this for? You want to promote your music, you want to do this, but you also want to inspire and help people grow, and you know, all that.
That's what
You
it's
know,
all about, dude.
totally, totally,
And it's awesome that you've stayed so humble about it, because I mean, rightfully so, dude. You could have been like so many other people and just stiff-armed everybody, and like I love the fact that that's not who you are. I love the fact that you're jumping on a podcast with me. Like it's cool as shit that you're so down to earth about it. Um,
it's
it's
my mom. My mom,
yeah.
my mom was like, would be slapping me the fuck around if I was some kind of dick. I'm afraid of my mom.
I mean, hey man, we all are. I think our
No doubt.
moms, I think our moms all hold that kind of power with us. But yeah, man, like you coming on here means a lot to me. Being someone that I've been such a fan of the music you've created, to having that the one experience where we met in the city show, like
Yeah,
you offered that night, because I was talking to you about the band I was in, and you offered to if there's anything you could do, like offer me production tips on my songwriting, or check out anything that I had coming up. And I was like, that's too good to be true, right? Like there's no way. And I sent you a song. You actually gave me some feedback on it. I was like, fuck, man. That's some cool shit to have someone that you have like on this fucking pedestal up here, right? And then they're willing to take that time out means so
sure.
much. So I'm glad that that's the example that you're setting in your life. I'm glad that that's the path you chose to take, because it's cool as shit. Truth be
Well,
told, it's really
we
cool.
like that's part of the great shit about technology, right? Like if I would
Yeah,
have been able to reach out to fucking Keith Moon or John Bonham or Ian Pace and ask them to listen to my shit, I definitely would have.
yeah,
And I mean, who knows, given the technology at those times, if somebody would have responded, if they would have responded or whatever. I mean, it's like,
right.
and that's just the important stuff, that is, especially when you bring it down to our culture, right? When you,
Yeah.
like, in the big scheme of things.
Hmm.
um it only makes it all better, it only makes it last longer, it only gives it more legs.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate the interactions. I appreciate the connectivity that I get from the internet. People want to bomb on social media so hard, and it's
Yeah.
hard for me to completely wrap my head around it because I've had such a fucking killer experience. It's like finding an old black phone book
Yeah.
in the bottom of some storage bin in your attic.
Hmm.
You know, for me, I've reconnected with so many people I thought I would never fucking see, or I have met people online, such as yourself or other people, where all of a sudden it becomes this branching effect. And sure, the politics suck online and all the fucking trolling and all that stuff, but there's ways to like moderate that and scroll on or block,
Yeah.
or unfriend or unfollow or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to set your settings a little bit, get in there and fucking maybe some of the clutter and static and negativity kind of washes away, you
Hmm.
know? But for me, the value in far it just blows away the negativity,
Yeah.
to be able to tell somebody, find me on Facebook and you're really there. It's not
Hmm.
just a number or a like. It's like, yeah, I'm right here. I mean, I have had a lot of times where people are like, is this Chris Kontos from Machine Head? And I'm like, yep. And they're like, for real? And I'm like, yeah. And the next thing you know, I'm in fucking Houston and it's like, dude, fuck yeah, and then it turns out they didn't know a tattoo artist that,
Yeah.
is or, it just all starts to become networking.
I think that social media has definitely played an important role in community. Like as toxic of a place as it is sometimes, if you
Yeah.
focus on the good aspects of it, there's such a rich community and it's really
Fuck
helped
yeah.
things like the metal scene grow.
Fuck
Um
yeah.
I always think back to The Cable Guy. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
In that movie, Jim Carrey said, the future is now. Soon you're going to be able to play video games with people all over the world. You can do like this. You can do your home shopping here. You can play Mortal Kombat with a friend over here. Like
Yeah.
that kind of shit was only a few years away when that movie came out. That was
Kind of
such
prophetic,
a,
right?
yeah, in a way, yeah. It just
Yeah.
multimedia became such an enigma in itself that like now here we are in 2025. It's so much easier to connect with people, so much easier to reach out and say, I follow your work here, whether it's like, a musician or a tattoo artist, like you said, or like something or someone that you want to connect with.
Yeah.
Or looking up friends from high school or whatever, like people you used to know, reconnect with them.
Yep.
It's a cool thing if you use it for the right things. And like, yeah,
Totally.
obviously there's trolls and bullshit, and you got to weed through it. Because
Yeah,
for every negative experience is a good one. For every
for
time
sure.
that every time that someone calls you an asshole online for something, there's another facet to that where like you have this kind of experience where it's like you really get to connect with people, and I think that's really important. I've
It
I've
is.
done I've done this podcast since January. That's when I started it up. So it's still relatively on the newer side of things, but
Uh-huh.
the amount of people that I've gotten to meet and learn about, like that's the
Yeah,
fascinating part to me is learning about everybody because
sure.
I'm big on the fact that everybody's got a story to tell. So I want to make sure
Yeah,
everyone gets to tell their story. Like
sure.
it's awesome to me that you were willing to come on here and share your story because you've got a fucking awesome story behind you. You've
Oh, thank
seen
you.
you've seen the early days of thrash. You've been a part of the early days of thrash. You had your BMX stuff. You've toured the world. Like you've had such an up and down and a gifted career, if I can call it that, where you've gotten to do a lot of things that you've wanted to do. And
Right.
I hope it's been as fulfilling for you to tell that story as it is to hear that story because it's inspiring to me to hear that.
Oh, right on, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. Um, Again, these podcasts and these little things are insight um into, like, the like you said, the stories can be cautionary tales, they can be the do's and don'ts.
Hmm.
They can bring information to light that's important, or at least I feel is important about, where our culture is going and where the industry is going. And I've had people tell me, like, be careful what you say, you don't want to get blacklisted in the
Right.
industry, or and I'm like, you know what, fuck that. Like, I'm 57 fucking years old. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, at this point, what can they take away,
Right.
from me? Like, what's blacklisting gonna do? Like, you're gonna blacklist me for keeping it real?
Hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus and say, oh, I know that guy drives Uber.
Right.
but I know that guy drives Uber.
Right, exactly.
Right. So, is that as a statement important for people to hear? Fuck yeah. Don't quit your day job until you're fucking ready to quit your day job.
Hmm.
Or if you quit your day job, you better be so fucking all in on your fucking band's progression and the art and every fucking facet of it and kicking so much ass, or you're gonna fucking actually regret it.
Hmm.
You know, it does not just come to you, especially anymore. You
Right.
know, the limo does not roll up and some guy jumps out and says, "I love your band and I'd like to offer you an exclusive contract to check your records," or whatever. You know what I mean? That's a thing of the past. You have to create it, or it's just not going to happen. It's just not.
Or I
You
mean
know,
that in the same regard, that same shit could happen, but it's the biggest scam you're ever going to put your name on, you know?
it always was, bro. A record deal has always been the worst fucking loan you could fucking possibly imagine or take in your fucking life. That's just the hard facts of it. The way the money is paid back, the whole way it all breaks down,
Hmm.
the worst. But does it garner rewards? Does it open up avenues for you to, with like Machine Head was like that Roadrunner situation with the three-way deal, right? You got the
Yeah.
record deal, the publishing deal, and the merchandise deal. When we signed that, I remember feeling like this has got to be an illegal business practice. This is like we're getting roped into a triad of fucking hell. Well, now they got the 360 deal
Yeah.
where it's every possible way of monetization and revenue they get a little bit of.
Yeah.
But why?
Hmm.
Because the customer has gone off the rails and they don't create any more revenue. So all the fucking label can do is get the tiny bits of the scraps that are left. So it's all systemic, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so feeding that information through podcasts, talking about good experiences, bad experiences, relationships, fixes to bad problems and stuff. They're important for people like yourself to have podcasts, equally important for people of any status or stature to do the podcast and keep it real. Like everybody wants to say, keep it real. I'm 100, right? Are you like
Right.
really keeping it 100? And it's important. Like we've talked a lot about doing a disservice to any one group, right?
Hmm.
Without really keeping it real. So I thank you for doing the podcast. I know they're time consuming. Takes a lot to put them on and get them set up and find the talent to do it,
Yeah.
so it's equally important for you to be doing them, dude. And I appreciate you.
Thank you for saying that, man. That means a
Yeah.
lot. So I do want to ask you one thing. As I think we're gonna start to wrap up soon, but um, what would you say is your favorite moment that you've had on a stage in your career? If you had to pick one.
That's kind of tough. That's a toughie. Like I could have answered that when I was 27 because nothing had happened yet. Um, Probably. Well,
I
okay.
mean,
What comes to mind is on the Machine Head reunion tour.
mhm,
We were playing Brixton Academy. It was 5,000 people. My wife was there. My mom was there. Some of my very dear friends kind of commandeered my mom and made sure she was all safe up in the balcony. And they sat with her, and uh, I could see her up on the balcony. And some fucking asshole halfway through the set took a full fucking beer, one of the giant fucking venue beers, and
mhm,
tossed it on our soundboard and fucking ruined it, killed the fucking show.
hmm,
And in this, we were freaking out, and Rob and myself held that crowd for like almost it was what seemed like an eternity, but it was like 25 minutes
mhm.
while our wizard fucking sound guy, Steve Lagudi, rewired and repatched the soundboard to the monitor board. And we were out there yelling to the crowd and making jokes and tossing beers. And we're like, they're going to make it work. You know, we're like trying to hold the crowd as long as possible. And the kids stayed in place, right? And that first guitar that went to like after they got it back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was fucking badass, you know, and we fucking finished the set and it was fucking awesome.
That's awesome,
And
dude.
we go downstairs and Rob is like not he's fucking pissed. He's flipping, I'll just tell you, he's flipping fucking tables
Oh, I'm
and
sure, dude.
throwing chairs, right? And so I watch him for a minute. I'm like, all right, get it out, kid. Get it out, get it out, get it out. And then like the fifth chair that's gone fucking to like toothpicks, right? I'm like, Rob. I'm all, dude, what's a better story? Machine Head comes to Brixton Academy, plays to 5,000 people, burner show, hard stop. Or Machine Head has beer thrown on soundboard. They rewire the soundboard. They hold the crowd for fucking 30 minutes. They finish the set in a blaze of glory with more pyro than they started with. Fuck yeah. Right? And he's like, fuck you, Chris Kontos. And he just goes glory. He's like, yeah, you're right. Right? So like perseverance, you know, I go, that's going to be the kind of show that fucking 20,000 people will fucking lie and say they were at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that whole little thing right there, that show, that does stand out for me.
That's awesome.
Big time. Big time.
That's a good one, dude. That's a real good one. It's fucking
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. And I wish I could get my hands on that fucking guy.
The crowd had to have gone so much harder after you guys got back up and running too.
Out of control.
Yeah.
Like fucking out of control. You know? Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
And now I do want to ask you, because we spent a lot of time talking about the come up and like how to get your mind right when you're trying to make it as a band. What advice would you give a newer band starting up that's really starting to consider taking this seriously for themselves?
Quote unquote, quit. I'm just kidding.
I knew that was coming.
Oh, Cliff. Golden words out of that man. Really, all things considered, like how bad do you want it? And don't look at a musical career as a pyramid, right? Look at it as a vessel that you want to overflow, right? There is no pinnacle point. There is no mountaintop. Don't go into it with, if I could only get signed, or if I could just make a record, or if I could, it has to be a boundless, open, universal quest, right? So don't come into it with like misconceptions of money or like fame or you know, some kind of thing like that. It has to come from your heart. The music has to please you, right? But you have to always remember that it is entertainment, right? So if you're gonna bring something totally unique or whatever, that might change the amount of people that are into it, right? So if you're doing something freaky and outside the box, there might be a ceiling on that, right? Of the people who are going to get into that. So don't get your morale busted when, you know, you got 10,000 fans that are into that, you know?
Right.
But I think a lot of people confuse themselves with musicians versus entertainers. You can be the best musician in the fucking world and have nothing entertaining about anything that you fucking do. Right? And the other thing is fucking communicate on a level with your band members. The communication, dude, is like what breaks up most fucking bands. It's like, don't push shit down when it happens. if something happens where your feelings are hurt or you feel patronized or somebody, because the relationship and the chemistry is what's going to propel a band further and further and further. Like, why is you two still together? Or,
Right.
any bands where it's like the original members, barring a death or, one guy leaving or whatever. Like, what's the common factor here that keeps it? It's probably communication, right? And get it out.
Mhm.
Don't stuff fucking 10 times that your feelings were hurt down because then you'll blow up for some meaningless, mundane shit. You
Right.
know, you'll just, where's my blue Gatorade? I said blue Gatorade. And then it's really about those 10 times that.
Yeah.
So just keep an open line of communication, be honest with each other, hear each other out, and just you gotta be able to take the fucking kicks in the fucking face. You gotta take them. You gotta keep the morale up and just give everything you fucking got. Like don't play a show differently that you play to 20,000 people to 20 people.
Hmm.
That's something I saw in Norm. Norm Skinner
Yeah.
was that I could see that guy play in front of 20 people, and I knew that guy was ready for a 40,000 person crowd. You know, and that's a testament to his fucking morale level and how much he wants to be doing it. That 20 people isn't going to put him in a box, you know?
I feel like a lot of the time with bands that play to smaller crowds, they do let it get to them. They want every
Yeah,
show to be like 100, 200, 500 people, but like if you've never played to an open room, you don't know. Like if you're playing to the sound guy and the bartenders, that's a
right.
moment where you got to give it more than you've ever given in your entire life.
Fuck yeah.
You got to
Fuck yeah,
show like
dude.
those are the shows that are going to break people. And if you play to an empty floor and you're playing it like you're playing to an empty floor, dude, like that's a band to me that's never going to make it. That there's no
Right.
character there, like we talked about
Yeah.
before. So it's cool to hear you say that too, because that's the reflection of everything that I've been trying to say for years too. Is that there's bands that they are tremendous at their instrument, huge, like they're phenomenal at their craft, but they either can't write a song or they can't entertain because they make
Right.
it 100% about them and like 0% about what they're contributing to an overall package.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
think
man.
I think that's great fucking advice for bands that are starting to come through now. Um
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of the time bands also try to instead of simplify, they try to overcomplicate things, you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
and that's never what makes someone in a crowd remember who you are, you know?
Right.
So they'll remember you in the moment. They'll be like, that was a really cool band, and then they're gonna go home and forget about it. But if you could bring something to the table, that's gonna make them
Yeah.
say, I have to look them up on Instagram. I have to find out when they're playing again.
Yeah.
Energy is infectious, dude.
It is. It is.
Now, I can't
Big time.
I can't fully remember because it's going back a couple of years now, but when when Machine Head did the K Club, were you at that show?
Yeah, I did the K-Pit. Yeah.
How fucking sick was that?
So that was the night after
That
that
was the night
Brixton
after
story.
Brixton?
Yeah. So
Damn.
we went from that show to 50 people in a club, right?
Shit.
With a totally reduced drum set, and it was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fucking hallway, dude. Like when you see the front door and the big square window is what's behind us. They just put the big banner right there, right? Basically locked those 50 people in the venue because the only way to get out was past us, right?
Oh wow.
It was fucking awesome, dude. People were doing stage dives off the bar, and it brought us back. And it was a real, it was a real sense of like, why did we do this? Why do we do this? This is how we came up, was doing little ass house parties or little ass venues like this. And it was very grounding and super fun, dude. Super fucking fun, man.
So the reason I ask about that is because I do know that's a drastically smaller capacity than a normal Machine Head show.
Fuck
But
yeah.
that shows you that like you guys played 5,000 the night before, you played 50 the night after, and it was the same energy. It was the
Fuck
same
yeah.
shit. And that shows, like, it doesn't matter how many people are in that room, you got to give it 100% every fucking night.
Yeah. Oh
That's
fuck
awesome.
yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good time. And I love that they do those, right? You bring a band that's too big for the room in and you
Hmm.
fucking go crazy. I love that Kerrang does that.
Yeah.
From the second I heard that we were going to do that, because you got to remember now, before Machine Head kicks off,
Hmm.
right? I'm doing those kind of gigs. Like
Right.
I'm in the boneless ones. We're playing to 50 people, 70, 100 tops, right? So this is nothing new for me. This is my grind, right? My grind was like coming out of coming out of attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
We played some big punk gigs, but mostly our grind was, your normal little punk shows, right?
Hmm.
So, you know, my career has not been over the top venues, small hockey arenas, and all that shit. I'm straight up with you, dude. The bulk of my career has been in clubs,
Hmm.
small clubs for small shows, trying to break my small bands. So, same veracity.
Hmm.
That's what I was saying with like my advice is to like when I'm telling a band, keep it hot all the fucking time, no matter how many people are there. I'm not saying that from a place like I spent the last 30 years in not one show under 10,000 people. That part of my career is the way smaller fucking percentage
Right.
than what some people would say shit shows, you know, with nobody there,
It's a
right?
perspective, man. It's all about the
It is.
perspective.
But that's why I keep my ass in fucking small clubs and fucking go to venues that are fucking with little bands and all that shit. Like people go, damn, you go to so many fucking shows, dude. You go to so many fucking gigs. And I'm like, why wouldn't I?
Right.
That's where it is. This if you want to see fucking cool, dirty ass fucking bands like Necrot and fucking Deathgrave and Bewitcher and fucking, you know,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, and then even with like hardcore, it's like you want to go see Agnostic Front and Murphy's Law and fucking, all that shit. You got to go to fucking shit shows, man. You got to go to little ass fucking clubs and get it real.
Dude, so I played with Agnostic Front one time with my old band, and that was a humbling experience. I learned a thing or two about an Agnostic Front crowd that I didn't know before. They don't they don't typically like metalcore all that much.
Right,
So
right.
we the band that I was in, we were a metal band leading towards like a little bit of metalcore, a little bit of deathcore.
Okay.
Um, we were doing an Avenged Sevenfold cover, and we always pulse check the room, see like any Avenged Sevenfold fans, try to whip them into a little bit of a frenzy. Well, we asked the question that night, any Avenged Sevenfold fans in the crowd, and one dude in the middle of 200 crossed arms in the middle of the floor just goes, eh. And we're like, skip the song, don't do it.
Yep.
Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Keep going. That's
So
hella funny, dude. That's
we
hella
uh
funny.
we still ended up doing the song, but we got off the stage as fast as we fucking could. And then as we're packing our shit into our
That's
cars,
classic.
as we pack our shit into our cars, my drummer Tyler comes over to me. He's like, "Yo, dude, Jesse Leach is here." I was like, "Nah." Like, shut the fuck up. No, he's not. He's like, "No, yeah, he just walked in and said he didn't see that, did he?" He's like, "No, I think he came in right after." I was like, "All right, because if he saw us shit the bed like that, I'm quitting music tonight." But like, dude, Jesse from Killswitch, dude, just walked in. He was thrown down with the crowd.
Oh,
He lived in New York City for a bit, so he was always at
right.
fucking New York City punk shows. So
Yeah.
that was cool. It was like after such an embarrassing set, it was such a cool highlight to go in there and be like, all right, dude, that's pretty fucking cool. Like we got to take a picture
Right.
with him and shit. So it was cool, man.
Right.
But it's one of
Silver
those things,
linings,
like,
bro.
yeah,
Silver lining.
but it also shows you that like you're never above going to a down and dirty show like that.
At all. Ever.
Yeah,
Ever. Ever, bro.
yeah. It
You
was
have to you have to stay connected. You got to keep your feet on the fucking ground.
mhm.
You got to know where it really comes from. That's the spring of eternal life, bro.
Yeah. Amen. That's really, you got to be willing to throw it down with your people. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta know your people too. You gotta know your crowd, you know?
Yep.
But it's cool that
Yep.
you can go anywhere really in the world and you could just connect like that with a group of people. It's like such a
Yeah,
mutual, unspoken understanding that we all have in the metal scene.
for sure. For sure. That's why it's like damaging seeing somebody who doesn't know shit about a fucking Slayer t-shirt and a Slayer shirt.
Yeah.
Because just a short time ago, if you were in a town with nobody fucking to connect with, and all of a sudden somebody pops out of a fucking store carrying groceries, but they've got a fucking Megadeth shirt on, you're like, metalhead, or
Yep.
punk rock, and then all of a sudden boom, all right, I'm okay. They exist here. We're all good.
Dude, my wife always makes fun of me for how quickly I can connect with people just based on the shirt that I'm wearing that someone complimented or a shirt someone else is wearing that I complimented.
There you go. There you go.
Like within 5, 10 minutes, it's like, yeah, what's your Instagram? Let's hang out sometime. Like it's so fucking easy.
Right.
And then before you know it, you're running into them at shows and like it's such a good community. And people don't really
Yeah.
acknowledge that. People still think it's like the whole like, you know, if you listen to Marilyn Manson, you're probably gonna shoot up your school type shit. And like that's so far removed from what metal actually is. It's such a tired rhetoric at this point.
Yeah, because he took the heat that fucking Judas Priest was getting, that fucking Ozzy was getting. Look, this is PMRC and the church and the fearful
Yeah.
trying to blame anybody but the parents.
Yeah. And the parents are
You know,
always the ones that should have been kept
on it,
out. They
on it.
yeah, the parents failed 100% of the time. And
Yeah,
you can't blame a musician. You can't blame South Park. Like none of that shit it didn't do anything. It didn't influence.
yeah.
It's not every case is going to be the catcher in the rye, you know. Not everything is going to be, well, this person read this but they murdered John Lennon. Like it's
Thank
not,
you,
you
thank
know,
you.
it's media. It's how you perceive things,
Yeah,
but it's also like who's paying attention to you? Who are you coming home to at night? That's what really
right.
matters because people balance you out, and
Yep,
sick people are going to do sick things, but
for sure,
sick
for sure.
kids, sick children, no, sick children come from sick parents, you know.
Yep, yep.
And
Yeah,
the whole Columbine thing happened when I was a kid, and I remember like we had lockdown drills and shit in school. It was a whole big thing. My
yeah,
parents were terrified because I was just starting to get into metal music. They're like, I don't want any of that kill your parents music. I loved Slipknot. I loved Disturbed. I was
yeah.
really into all that shit, and I wasn't allowed to listen to it because they were terrified. I'm like, that's not what this is, though.
Right.
As much as I tried to convince them of that, they still found the lyric books that came in the CDs and read the lyrics, and they're like, yes, it is. That's 100% what this is. Like, but it's not because that's not what I am. Like,
Right.
you have a good upbringing, you have people that care about you in your life, whether that's parents or friends or a school guidance counselor, dude. Like any of that kind of shit goes such a long way. But like,
Yeah.
it's never you can never say that like this kid is bad because they listen to music ever. It's just it's a fallacy.
No, dude. No, it is. It seems to be going away a bit.
It yeah.
I think that blame game has started to go away. I
Hmm.
think, you know, the more issues that people with mental health and mental health issues and awareness on that,
Hmm.
um, it's starting to wash away the blame game a little bit more.
Yeah,
You know?
I talk a lot about mental health on this podcast. It's something that like it's such a an important topic in society right now. But I have a partnership with BetterHelp because I wanted my listeners to know that if they have issues that they need to talk about, but they're afraid to talk to somebody about it, I can provide them at least a resource to get that out. I don't give a fuck about making money on that, dude. I just want my listeners
Yeah.
to know that if they need someone to talk to, there's somewhere out there that they can go to get help.
Yeah, dude.
But
Yeah, dude.
it's it's important. Overall, it's really
Yeah.
important because the suicide rates through the years have gone up. I mean, I feel like the self-mutilation thing has gone down through the years, but it's also increased with the rate of suicide, and it's fucking
Sure.
tragic.
Yeah, man. It's gnarly. It's really gnarly. I mean, I suffer from anxiety and
Hmm.
a lot of a lot of self-loathing and a lot of just kind of body dysmorphia and just weird fucking shit like that. And uh, BMX saved my fucking life, dude.
Yeah.
And what was a trip was like when I got into it, I had this overwhelming sense of like I couldn't rely on anybody. I couldn't rely on band members or anybody to get me through a race, right? It was like
Right.
all centrifuge.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that, I had to be self-reflective on like meditation and like preparedness and like, centering my thoughts. Because if you think about one fucking thing besides the fucking race or the
Mm-hmm.
obstacles, each obstacle in front of you, you're fucking going down, you're going down fucking hard.
Right.
And so I started to realize that there were a lot of fucking hurting ass people out there in the BMX world, especially in my age group, from like, 30 to 65 or whatever, because all the age groups are opened up. But I started to
Mm-hmm.
realize there were a lot of people out there either like in recovery or have just come out of a fucking divorce or fucking you know, coping with a lot of fucking suicidal thoughts or anxiety and mental anguish and shit. I realized there was like a lot of people, and then all of a sudden it was like being talked about. People were like, "Oh yeah, this is fixing me, man. Being out here fixes me."
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps me centered and it keeps my thoughts online. And, it's a constant fucking battle. I try to keep those lines of communication open with people who need to reach out. I've had a lot of friends fucking OD on drugs or drink themselves to death or commit flat out suicide. And, uh, you know, the story seems to almost echo with the whole held it all in, didn't reach out,
Yeah.
didn't have trust or faith that anybody would not judge them, or they didn't feel they had a way to reach out to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people throw out a lot of fake shit like anything I can do or I'm always here for you too. Like you got to really mean that when you say that.
Right.
Like when you say, hey, if you need, I'm here for you, or because tots and pairs doesn't really cut it sometimes. Sometimes you have to kind of maybe reach out and let it be known.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody's doing vague booking with some pain,
Mm-hmm.
you know maybe not comment, fucking call them.
Yeah.
Maybe not just a little I'm here for you. Oh, reach out if you need me. Like sometimes that's superficial, dude, and then that can be a tipping point.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to reach out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you were superficially fucking saying you were there. You know, don't say it if you don't
It's
mean it. You know?
every time, like, I stopped doing all that kind of shit, like putting my feelings on Facebook and all that kind of shit, because like ultimately I felt like no one cares, and if I need to talk to someone, I'm just gonna talk to someone. I'm not gonna like hide behind a song quote or some shit like all passive aggressive. Like that was such a big thing with the come up of social media, like with AOL Instant Messenger
Yeah.
and MySpace and Facebook and shit. Like you could just put something vague out there and let people be concerned, or they're concerned for no reason at all. And
Right.
a thing that I started to notice is that like if people mean what they say, you got to call them the task on that shit. So like if you're having a rough day and someone had said to you at any point, "Hey, if you need me, I'm here." Well, then call that person up and be like, "Hey, I'm having a shitty fucking day, and you said I can
Yeah.
call you, so I
Yeah.
need to talk. You got
Yeah.
time, you know?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and adversely too, if you're someone like you said, if you're someone that said that you're going to be that ally for somebody, if you're going to be on that person's team, don't wait until it's too late. Call them.
Right.
If you see
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
there's something wrong that they're putting online or some shit, call them. Skip the
Yeah.
middleman because you could be saving a life. You know,
Totally. Totally, man. Yeah, I mean,
there's
I've put some real vulnerable moments on my socials, and they've led to really fucking valuable fucking feedback, uh, interactions and conversations of calming or of just techniques or
Mhm.
slap out of it's too.
Yeah.
Get a little perspective sometimes when you're like putting it out there, and then somebody puts it back at you, and then you're all of a sudden you're responding to them.
Mhm.
Because they're in a far worse place, you know?
Right.
Um, but yes, it can be fakery and just kind of fishing for fucking some bullshit.
Mhm.
I've done that. I've called people and they're like, I'm fine. And I'm like,
Right.
are you really? And they're like, yeah, I was just bummed out. And you're like, okay, you sure? Like everything, and you kind of keep on it, and they just kind of like, well, did you really mean that then? Because like you kind of fucking scared me.
Right.
So don't play with that shit.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
feel like that kind of shit like people take seriously, but sometimes not seriously enough.
Right.
Um, if you're aware of the shit that's going on in the world, like you know that like things are kind of fragile with a lot of people, and
Yeah.
it's not even fair to really put something vague out there to scare somebody else, you know?
Right. Right.
Um, it's such a small thing that can make the biggest difference. Is that like would you rather take the time to post something online and be like, I hate my life today. I'm not feeling it. And then have everyone reach out with the fake sympathy and crocodile tears and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry if you need me, blah, blah, blah. Or would you rather say, I'm going to be proactive about this? I'm going to save my
Sure.
own life. Or if you're someone that's commenting, are you going to be someone to say, well, they're just faking it? Or are you going to check on them and be like, hey, listen, I'm concerned because you posted that. As a friend, I'm
Yeah.
concerned. I saw this and I
Yeah.
need to talk to you.
Hmm.
I've had that with friends before where one of my friends, and I don't want to say his name, but like every single day he was posting the most miserable shit on Facebook. And it got to a point where I'm like, hey, listen, we need to talk. Listen, what's your
Yeah.
phone number? Get on the phone with me. And he gave me his number and we talked it out for a while and was like, are you okay? He's like, not really, but I'm just shit posting online. I said, well, you need to stop doing that. He's like, you need to
Right.
channel your energy to a better place for yourself
For
because
fixed.
you're just drowning yourself. And like,
Yeah.
if you need me, I don't care what time of night it is. Call me because I'm going to answer the
Yeah.
phone for you. It's like if you feel like you got nobody else, you still got me in your corner. But
Right.
stop posting this shit on Facebook. Stop trying to garner the sympathy from everybody. If something is wrong, I need you to tell me something is wrong because I'll help you
Yeah.
get the help that you need. But
For sure.
it's something that I feel like a lot of people take seriously. I feel like it's getting taken seriously more. But there's
Yeah.
such a huge, still a huge thing with mental health that's being shut out or shamed or people feel weak about it. Like you should
Right.
never feel weak about taking care of yourself, you know?
Never.
It's
Never.
it's the strongest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the anxiety thing, the depression, the poor self-image thing, that's all shit that I go through too, like on a big
Yeah, man.
scale. And starting this podcast up actually helped me deal with a lot of that. Um
That's cool, man.
it was I've never been the guy that's like in front of the camera, in front of the mic. I was always scared to death to do that kind of shit. But it
Hmm.
got to a point where I was like, am I gonna let this run me or am I gonna do something new? Because like I lost my job earlier this year. So like that sucked. That was hard enough to face. But like it's like I need to find something that's gonna give me some self-worth here. And starting this
Hmm.
up really helped me figure that out. And like whether I'm talking to somebody else or just staring myself in the face with the camera on me, like talking about some bullshit, like it's really helped me to channel like emotions, to channel what I'm passionate about,
Sure.
all that kind of shit. It's a good tool to have, but
Right
also
on,
getting
man.
to connect with so many cool people, like it's also another thing that's helping out. And like I said, the sponsorship thing with BetterHelp is there for everybody else. That's not even there for
Cool,
me to,
man.
it doesn't matter to me if people sign up. Like I want them to,
Sure.
but not because I get kickback, just because I need people to stay alive and take care of themselves. You know,
Yeah.
I
Well, and you put something on the line too with your thing where it's like this isn't just vapid fucking beer sponsor or
right.
you know what I mean, or like whatever, you're putting something out on the table that's there with meaning and help and value that's helping you get something done too,
Right.
which is everything you just listed for yourself, which is important. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That's fucking great. You're doing that, dude. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Um,
And good awareness on you, dude, to know that you need it, right?
yeah.
And to
I mean,
see that it's helping. A lot of people do stuff that it kind of just blows right past them. They don't realize that it's actually having self value. It's helping.
yeah.
That's cool, man.
It's opened a lot of doors for sure.
Good deal.
it's helped my self-confidence out. I mean, like, anxiety is still there. It's never going to go away, but it's just a matter of
Right.
like how to work with it, how to channel it. And a lot of the time I feel like the anxiety aspect comes from everything else, like the stress of life or having like
Sure.
a what the fuck do I do next kind of thing happen. And it's cool to
Fucking real.
yeah, it's cool to have a channel to kind of get that kind of crap out once in a while, but also to relate, because
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of musicians, dude, and like, yes, you're the first, notable name I've had on the podcast, but you go through it too. We all go through it. We're all human beings. At the end of the day, it's the human experience. Like we all share this
Yeah,
shit
man.
together. So,
Yeah.
so we are not alone in this ride,
There
man.
should be nothing to hide. There should be
No,
nothing to hide.
no, man.
You know, too many people do that. They hide too much of their life or they hide too much of their experiences, and then it eats them alive.
Yeah,
And that's just sad. You
yeah,
know,
it is
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
But listen, dude, I think we're gonna wrap because I've had you on for a long time now. But
It's all good, man. It was a great,
I
really good conversation, man. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you again for taking the time to come out and do this for me. Um, stay safe, man. Take care of
Fuck
yourself
yeah.
on the road. Have a great time in Europe. And if you ever come through New York, dude, I would love to get together, see a show. So
Fuck yeah.
let's make it happen,
That's
man.
gonna happen. That's gonna happen, bro. I'll see you out there for sure. Forbidden's gonna be coming out there next year.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Let's get it
got
going,
some
dude.
got some great shit that's gonna be announced soon. So fuck yeah, we'll make it happen, dude. We'll stay in touch.
Can't wait, man.
Thanks for
But yeah,
having
man.
me, dude. I appreciate it, man. I do.
Anytime, legitimately. If you ever want to come back on, you just hit me up and we'll get you back on here.
Fuck yeah, dude. Right on.
I appreciate you, Chris. Thanks so much, dude.
Right on, man. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, dude.
A huge thank you to Chris Kontos for coming on the show today. Thank you so much for taking some time out to talk. I know how busy you are. It truly meant the world to me. It was a pleasure, my friend. Please keep in touch, and I can't wait to get together when you come through New York. Stay safe in Europe. Have a fucking blast, dude. Thank you for your time and your support, everybody who listens, all the interactions on social media, who tells their friends to listen. I love you all, and I appreciate you more than words can say. Again, the easiest and cheapest way for someone to support a friend or family member's business ventures is to just help get the word out. I do this for everybody in my life who starts something up. It takes zero effort or time. Share the page, like and share a post, tell a friend about something I've said or a band you heard on the podcast, go get tickets to one of the shows that I tell you about, or just stream the music that you hear. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It goes a really long way. That about wraps it up for us today. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys again on the next one. You've been listening to the Face the Music podcast. Be well, everybody. Be safe, and I will see you again soon. Peace.